Hello, everyone, and welcome to a Sunday night broadcast. This is Korak. I'm joined by Nathaniel. Nathaniel, how you doing?
Doing quite well. Looking forward to seeing this B3 table work things out up at the top. We have Michael and Dennis in the promotion zone, hoping to stay there. Yukai hoping to end up positive. And Drew's got a lot of work to do, but 4 games to try to make something happen.
All right, we see nice little hand here for the dealer. Two Dora, possible Tanyao. And I mean, you can go with that. Could even get Itsu out of this. 1, 2, 3 makes a Tanyao unlikely, but lots of routes to go. On the right, we have possibly Peiko. Also potential Chitoitsu. Not too much value there, though. Across the way, definitely a Tanya. 2, 3, 4 Sanshoku potential if you draw around that 2 pin. Well, that draws around the 2 pin. I didn't mean another 2 pin, but I
Hmm.
guess that'll work. And on the left, that's already Ishunten.
Yeah, pretty speedy hand here. Of course, definitely dealer with a 2 Dora. Feels like they've got a lot of incentive to press forward, even against what might be an early Ricci from Red Panda here. It's confusing to see Red Panda when there's another Red Panda
Oh,
in
yeah,
A1.
not Viet. Viet, of course, had that name and got it sniped. Didn't realize there was already a red panda. Well, that's because Michael already had the account name. It was a bit of a running gag when Michael joined the league. Where he's like, "Oh, that's who had the full name, Red Panda."
Well, we'll see Michael climb the standings. Just, I think, hit B3 last season and now in good position to move up to B2 if you can hold on here. Some good finishes. Hopefully, this early
Eat.
Ishanten comes to fruition, but gotta
Oh,
Rigi from
we have
Dennis
some
instead.
very fast hands. Ricci on the right for Ricci Yupeiko, 1 pin, 5 pin. Dealer is Ishan 10, potential Ricci Dora 2. On the left, that's Ishan 10 for potential Ricci Itsu Dora.
And we can see these players interested in fighting 3 pin. No signal that that's safe whatsoever, but Drew says, my hand's worth fighting for. Michael,
And Michael goes and throws the safe 9 pin. Doesn't want to directly fight this just yet.
yeah, he had a tile to give, but next draw could be Tempai draw, and he might jam the 5-mon. Or
Oh, no! Oh, that was the Tempai. Instead, you have this one, which we know deals in.
he
And
folds.
just going to fold out at this point.
It's a tough fold. It's just as the 3 pin for now.
Eat.
And there's another chase. This is waiting on the 3-mon for Ricci Tanyao.
1 mon. Safe to the new Ricci. It's a terminal, so it's a fair effort here. 6 pin.
Meanwhile, dealers look at this hand and going, wait, I thought I had the best hand.
Right. Some of their Tempais aren't going to be very good anymore. 1 mon's still safe here.
Potential shift to a Tanyao now.
Yeah, it's almost like you need to draw 6 pin, 5 pin.
Oh, well, that 1-5 is filling up on the hand to the left. Only one out left in the wall for Dennis.
That's a good early Ricci, and that 1 pin's
Oh,
going to come
never
out.
mind. Just have it come out. Ricci, Peiko.
Yeah, some of those lower pin tiles have been discarded. There wasn't a lot to go
Ooh,
off
the
of.
aura. Those hurts. That's going to be 5,200 plus both 326. So Dennis out to the quick lead.
Yeah, Dennis had a little warm-up earlier today during the IORMC qualifiers. He substituted in one of the games, had a great showing there. I believe ended
That's
up
a
in
nice little
second.
Pinfu hand. Just probably Ricci Pinfu. On the right, we have a bunch of tiles in Pinzu. Hard to go Chinitsu, but I guess there's a potential there. More likely just a Tanyao type hand across the way. I don't know. What do we do with that? Do you want to go Itsu and Manzu, I suppose, but all the other shapes everywhere, it's a bit of a mess. Maybe a 7-9 Sanshoku. And on the left, oh, another 3 so would make that hand amazing for potential Ricci, Pinfu, Itsu, Dora 2.
Mm,
Ricci, Pinfu, Peiko, Dora 2.
definitely more value potential for Yukai, but that you gotta get that Dora. And there are 3 in the wall, so definitely possible. I am quite interested in Michael's hand across the table. As you said, the Itsu was perhaps the best value route, but 1 mon's gone now, and the Sanchoku is kind of disappearing as well, so probably going to work this more towards a Pinfu at this point.
3 won't really fit in there, but as mentioned, could just go Tanyao towards shape with it. So you're going to play efficiency for now with the East cut. 6 is an interesting tile, because you do have that 5-5-6, and we'll cut away from this Penchon.
Still, I feel like Yukai's got the advantage in value. No one's close, and the shapes are pretty good. Even if you don't end up getting the 3-so, the best draw here, you can still use the 1-so as the pair and slam a Richidora 1. It's not so bad.
Well, that 8-so does not help this hand at all. Out it goes. Well, the 6 fills in nicely. Bunch of tiles that are connected but loosely. The question, what are you going to do with that 4-so? Also potential 6 of an 8 Sanchoku there on the right.
Yeah, a big
Um,
question for Drew is like what your pair is going to be. It really depends on your next draw, and I think he's hoping to draw around the four so and make a decision on the pair later. Still slow going for Michael across the table. I keep wanting to say Viet, but holds the tune as a safe tile at
I
this
can
point.
go with not Viet if you want.
Okay, yeah.
Ooh. 3-so with a 3-5, now potentially 3-4-5 Sanchoku, but also the same problem there for Dennis. What's your pair going to be?
Yeah, if you use the 3 mon as your pair, remaining shapes are Diamond and
Oh, well, that
Lanza.
2-so on the right fixes that solution, that issue. Just need to wait on another one of those 3-so, and you don't mind waiting on the Dora necessarily.
Yeah, interesting choice here to cut the 7. A little more efficient to hold 2 pairs with the 8-so cut or the 6-mon cut. Now, you could think about the 8-so cut because it guarantees Tanya. On the other hand, the 7-8 weight is going to end up being, it should be stronger in the future. So I think Drew is
Well,
aiming for
you also
that.
have the other option of pairing up the 2 and 4-so, and then you don't have to worry about it. You have great shapes then.
That's true.
Because if you
The
cut the 8-so or the 6 mod, you're locking in that Dora weight.
Right. And the thing is, if you pair up the 2-so or 4-so, you are losing the potential to draw Dora.
Like
So
that!
yeah, we'll appreciate the better shapes, but we'll miss out on Dora now.
The other problem is the 9-so is pretty dead. There's only one left, so that 6-9 weight, not as good as it may look.
Yeah, at the time it was twice cut in the draws following. One more became discarded. Certainly limits your winning options.
You see a chi for K10 on the left by Yukfai.
Oh, second Dora draw. We're gonna see a Ricci here.
Oh, for sure. And this will be Tanyao. Does not take the Tanyao.
Hmm.
Instead,
For
waiting on the 3, trying to set up a trap here.
It's not so bad this time because you've already cut a 1-mon and 2-mon early. You really shouldn't have a wait on the 3-mon here.
Oh, and that's Tempai on the right. Not the one that was expected, but we'll just Dama here. Oh, and it doesn't bait. We saw that 3-mon drawn on the left will not be thrown.
At least not yet. 6-mon also should pass as well, so a chance for you to get back into Tempai.
Ooh, interesting. I would throw the 8-so
Mm,
instead of that 5.
that's not like we're going to win on the 9 most likely anyway. Oh, 5.
Could switch to Peiko, but at this point doesn't matter. It will be 2 players Tempai.
Drew and Michael will take it. Dealership will pass.
And we're now in East 3.
I had
Do
the
you hear it's
feeling.
Drew? Nice little Pinfu type hand, maybe 1, 2, 3 Sanchoku, although you do have that Anko of 5-mon on the right. Kind of a Pinfu hand, but everything's a little loose, including the Dora. You have a loose 2-so, loose 9-pin, loose 1-mon. Lots of ways that hand can work together, but the fancy hand is the one across the way. That is
Yeah.
a Chanta, Dora, Hatsu, maybe even closed.
Let's get a
And as I
refresh and
say
see.
that, we immediately time out.
Let's see if the hand has progressed at all.
Well, we're not get a close look at it.
Still callable. Got the Dora. Let's swap over. Back to Drew.
And the hand on the left we hadn't gotten to has the south pair, but that is not Yakuhai, so maybe a 4-5-6 Sanchoku being the plan.
Yeah, Ricci. Oh, that's the wrong tile, but still, Ishanten for Ricci Pinfu is pretty good. And
I
if you,
wonder, do you like cutting to 4 there, or do you just want to cut the south?
yeah, I was thinking, if you draw something like the 3-so, the 3, you could be Tempire now, or you could cut the south pair there. And if that's your thought, then you might as well cut the south immediately on the instead of the 4-mon. But we've cut the 2 early, so I guess the draws are a
The
little less
potential
useful there.
Furry 10 got us in trouble, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that may have been where a situation where the south could have been the cut earlier, but now that we've kind of sold out on it, it's whatever. Oh, and there's just another 4 to laugh at you.
I guess what we would have had is a
Oh,
different.
there's our Tempai for dealer. This is a Ricci. 2-pin would be the Pinfu. Yeah, okay, locks in the Pinfu. This is Ricci Pinfu. 1 4-pin. We see 4 of them, so there are 4 left in the wall.
Oh, immediate
And a
chase.
chase. It is just the Ricci Dora 1. Didn't get the Chanta.
Didn't get the Yakuhai either. Still kind of sticky
Uh-oh,
weight
this
on
1-pin
2-so.
may look safe here.
Mm.
And there it goes. Michi Pinfu and the Aura, and those hurt.
Yeah, plus
Going
the
to change the position, so that's going to give a new leader here.
3 sticks as well. The 2 that happened this hand and the 1 left over from the previous round. Not a bad haul for Drew.
And Drew has 3 pairs, potential Honitsu in 2 different suits. The South is not Yakuhai, of course, the Dragon is. May just play it regular, though. And this is a situation where you have that 8 pin, you don't really like it, but it's near Dorich, you're probably to keep it anyway. On the right, that is much more towards a Honitsu suit. The problem is you have that 3-4 pin, so maybe you convince yourself to go regular hand. Ooh, speaking of 3 pin, there's one filled in for dealer. Across the way, whole bunch of pairs,
Home.
but 3 Dora, that's an easy call. Now Ishanten for
Home.
Haku Dora 3. And on the left, nice little Pinfu hand, but it's just not as fast as some of the rest of these.
Yeah, we saw Michael on the right open up, still cutting to the honor tile. So if he's not grading here, just going for speed, that will serve him
Home.
well because he needs to outspeed the Mongon that's brewing across the table.
I see the South called by dealer here, just trying to shut this down. Doesn't know just how bad this could be.
Oh, and a Dora drawn for Michael. That's hard to use currently. He can still draw around it. Needs one more block, but yikes.
We actually have Tempai on the left. This would be
Eat.
3-mon Penshan. We'll go ahead and take Yorichi.
Oh no! Across the table, he kept the 3-mon in hand.
And is going to deal it almost certainly. I don't know how you get away from this.
With 3 Dora, you surely will fight. Oh, it's gonna come
Oh,
out
it
in
deals in an
too.
Ipatsu even. Ichi
Unfortunate.
Ipatsu. Shuts down the 3 Dora. And the Ura, big hand there. Dennis with nothing turns into 5,200 just like that.
Yeah, and that's why when you've got your blocks pretty much secured, you typically discard outside in.
Oh, I see a
Sorry, inside
disconnect
out.
here. I also see dealer Ishanten for Richi Pinfudora.
Fortunately back.
On the right, whole bunch of Pinzu. May even go Chanta, but I think Honitsu's probably the play if you want to make any value out of this. Across the way, kind of a Pinfu hand. Really wants that 7 pin to fill in, but the shapes aren't great. And on the left, maybe Tanya. You have a couple pairs. It's hard to maneuver a hand like that. Those are the hands I hate, where it's just Kanchan everywhere.
Yeah, so sometimes you just give up on the hand and you start playing for Chitoy or something silly, something that allows you to hold defensive tiles because it can be really difficult. I mean, forcing Tanya is another option, but calling open so much, with middle
With no
tiles.
defense, that's a
Exactly.
problem, especially if you're calling for open Tanya. You just have no value.
And one of the things when you have all these constant shapes and you're aiming for a Tanya, you're typically holding more tiles, like more unique tiles, in order to have the maximum tile acceptance. And that just means more chances to deal in as you make progress.
Well, dealer here looking at that 2, 3, 4 in the discards, and that never feels good.
Yeah, the block seemed pretty secure at the time. Already gave up on the 8 pin earlier, now reconsiders and holds the 7 pin, perhaps for a bit extra
Takes the
efficiency.
perfect Ishan 10.
Yeah, I really want to draw the Dora anyway, so I could understand throwing the 7 pin out as well.
I would throw the 7 because I really want to pair up the 4, 7 and just cut the south anyway.
Yeah, I agree. It's starting to get second row though, so maybe we'll end up cutting the 7 pin for safety in the future.
Kind of fits, but not really. You have too many blocks there on the right is the issue.
Yeah,
1,
looking for a
2, 3,
pair.
4, 5, 6. Yes.
Oh, there's that 7.
Oh, there's the 7 we were talking about. That's rough.
Still, Kalagini showing fake progress. And I think also thinking about shifting up to
The
6,
pawn
7,
just
8.
screams Chitoitsu at this point. You look at that pawn, like, okay, it's not a Kokushi. It's either a really amazing starting hand, which is not that likely, although that's what it is. Oh, there's Riichi. I think you have to just take this. You're a dealer.
dealer,
You
yeah.
don't really have an incentive to care.
I mean, you can still south-south, but at this point, the 9 souls come out 3 times, so that side of the
Well, also,
equation is
your
not looking
problem
good.
is if you draw the 6-9 and you're 3-sided, you're 3-sided Furry 10,
That's
third row.
true. Yeah, good a slam here from dealer. We'll see if it pays out because there are only 2 tiles remaining in the wall. 1 6-0, 1 9-0.
Yeah, when you see a pawn like this, you think it's either a Chitoitsu or just an amazing starting hand. And having had my fair share of these, it's very rarely an amazing starting hand, but it is here.
Oh, that's a draw towards Tanya. Can you drop the 9-mon here? It's a little tricky. Not much
I'd
showing
be
here.
a
And
little concerned about even a Chanta hand
hmm,
here.
yeah,
Oh,
Khan.
Khan? There's our Khan. Well, you know it's not Chanta now. Now you're worried is it Suanko?
yeah, a lot of like sequence cuts typically means there are more pairs in hand, triplets even, but it is just a 6-9 so wait.
Mishanten broken on the right. The 5 is passed. That would have been Tempai.
Second time?
Well, this one wouldn't be Tempai. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's a little tricky to cut this 1-mon Dora, new Dora, even though it's come out. Well, I think that 1-mon came out after the Ricci. Or sorry, yeah, after the Ricci, but before the con.
There's the last 6. There is just one 9 so left. Might see a Haite.
One draw for it.
Nope. Will be 3,000 though. And you're a little sad considering how that hand started, but you never feel that bad when you net the full 3,000 points.
Yeah, if anything, I'm feeling a little lucky that I held on to the 7-pin, got the Anko, because I was not drawing to Tempai otherwise.
Yeah, that was a terrible set of draws for an amazing starting hand. But we'll have another chance here with the Ricci stick in the middle, and that hand is significantly worse. You have great floaters everywhere, but not much else. On the right, Uncle of 9-mon, Pinfu type hand, 2 4-pin would really help. Across the way, similarly bad shape Pinfu, maybe just go Tanya now with that 6-0 draw. And on the left,
Mm.
another mediocre at best hand. A whole bunch of trash I'm seeing here.
Yeah, at least Michael got the 2-mon filled for the 1-2-3 shape, and it's starting to make this hand look like something that can win, but really, everyone's looking for that door. All 5 so are in the wall.
Potential Itsu now building for Dennis.
It's still a bit of a stretch, but I mean, grasping at straws, that's another fill. These lower mon shapes coming together. Oh, it just
Nope,
gives up.
doesn't want it. I would definitely have cut 3-5 pin there and just gone for it. I don't even hate the 4-mon cut. Because I just don't know how that hand's really getting value. I guess the idea here is cut the 1 later and just go Tanya.
Yeah, I kind of like the 4-mon idea, just to hedge your options, but then you are losing the Tanya option, so
Each.
Oh, there's our Tempai on the right. Manages to pull this in to Ichinomi for a 6-9 weight. We see a whole bunch of those held in hands, but still 3 in the wall.
oh, and this early cut
1,
8
6, so
so
2, 9, so.
that could bait out a 9 later.
No, they say early. It's not that early. It's there's no information whatsoever in that
The
pod.
second 8?
Well, now I think I just shove it because I don't have anything better.
Yeah.
Even here, I don't think this is a bad deal if you throw it
Nope.
here. And out it goes. You just really hope this doesn't do a 3
Oh,
flip.
oh, you had to say something.
Ouch.
How?
Well, that's how that hand goes from nothing to very expensive.
Wow, so right back into the thick of things, and 30K, dealer again. It's like we're starting the game fresh.
That might get clipped and shown at a later date. That was not the intent, but that was funny.
Oh my goodness, Korak. Can you call that? Can you call that when I'm playing on Tuesday and I get my Richinomi? I
Only
usually
if
just
you'll
say
call it on
something.
mine and if it works as well.
I'll
All right, looks
field
like
it.
going to be dealer here with the Haku pair and a Dora.
Ooh,
Well,
make that a
Haku Onko and
triplet.
a Dora. Cuts the 3-pin. That's very inefficient. Looking for a whole bunch more value here. Doesn't really want to have that floating around, apparently. On the right, looks like a Chinitsu or Honitsu in Sozu. The problem is dealer also claimed a bunch of Sozu. Across the way, Chun pair. Mediocre shapes, not too much value. And on the left, maybe eventually 1, 2, 3 Sanshiku. It's just a mess, though. Probably going Chitoi now.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how Dennis is going to play this with 2 Dora and 3 pairs and this 1 Mon shape.
Oh, there's dealer Tempai. We'll just Dama here waiting on 7, so it did just come out. It may come out on the left.
Yeah, this is a little bit trouble for Michael. Wants to use the 7 with a 5, but needs to draw 6 badly.
Now the problem here is you don't really have any upgrades. I guess you have potential Sononko, but
Hmm.
this is one where it just doesn't like the bad weight and is instead going to Dama here.
Yeah, it looks like Drew will cut a 7 if they ever draw one. Oh, there it
Don't
is.
There it
fight.
is. We get Haku Dora, and you see a whole bunch of food there with the double Anko, 4,800 points. So a pretty decent sized win for Yukfai.
Get to reroll again, close to first. I've been first cut, relatively efficient here. West Dora, we're seeing 1 to the left, and the rest are in the wall. Probably a
Now,
little bit of an awkward hand for the dealer.
idea with a few pairs, not much else. You just play efficiently to see what happens. On the right, we have an Anko of the Tone, but that's no longer Yakuhai. Actually, working toward just a Richi Nomi hand, which is probably the best you're going to get from that. Across the way, kind of a Pinfu hand, maybe an Itsu now with that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. And on the left, you're going to see the Hatsu pair up. And other than that, though, the Kanchans are everywhere. And if you don't have a Kanchan, you also have a Penchan on top of it.
Yeah. A true Mahjong classic, drawing the Anko of East after after the East round, and, well, it's not your dealership. You're just sitting there hoping that the food gives you something. In the meantime, another pair for dealer. Could be thinking Chichoi's. These tiles are extremely disconnected.
Ooh, and there's a Payonko, potential Stunonko down the road. We'll need a couple more sixes.
Do you consider calling a 6 any of the 6s for Toy chance?
Do you mean Sanshiko Doko?
Well, I wasn't gonna go quite that far yet, but
Well, when you say any of the sixes, that's exactly what you meant.
okay,
Let's
yes, I
not
was
kid
definitely
ourselves.
thinking about the Doko. You got me. Well, it needs a little bit of work to get there. One 6-pin held, so
Ishunten across the way needs the 6-so and 3 6-pin.
yeah.
These are the type of hands I get in trouble with because I want to make something happen, but it's just not there.
And if you end up on the 608, only 2 left
Oh,
in the
and that
wall.
8-pin. Bit of a backfire there for Drew.
Yeah, maybe 3 Mon was a better cut. Even though normally you hold a 3 over an 8, just the potential value of Itsu's
Enough to justify it. And the
restoration.
rest of the shapes aren't good enough really to say, hey, I really want that 5-7. Well, we're Ishunten for Suonko now.
Well, this is not the direction I expected us to move. 8 Mon has 1 in the wall. 6 Mon has 2 in the wall. 9 So has 1 in the wall. This is live. Another pair for...
Awesome. 3-so. Doesn't want to call without a Yaku, of course.
Yeah, maybe missing that 3 So for the Diancon shape. Wonder why we're attached to this 3 Mon. Maybe just as a safe tile against the dealer.
I like holding the 9 as the relative safe tile in this hand. It doesn't look dangerous to anyone. Whereas the 1 could deal in a cross if there's a Ricci.
Yeah, we might see a situation soon where you have to decide whether to call Poland or not.
Well, at this point, well, you just caught now. Ooh, I would hold the 4, because if I draw the 5, I'm not happy, but I'll take it.
Well, now decision from Michael. Do we
It
slam?
is Tempai. Which wait? We'll wait on the 8.
Yeah, I think probably wouldn't have taken this, but there was a con, so one Hatsu eliminated from the game.
And that looks like a fold from Dennis.
Yeah, fair enough. That hand wasn't ever going to be anything more than
Oh,
no.
there's the Toy. Of course, remember, Sumo is still Sononko here.
The wait is live. Yeah, rather.
Both players waiting on the 8. Dealer also waiting on the 6.
Oh, what second con?
More cons. Come on, you have to.
Surely.
Kong.
Yes, let's go.
Let's go!
Oh,
Oh, it
Dora.
draws the new Dora.
All right, anyway, that's not Kasuji. We're fine. Oh, could call for Tempai. How bad is the 3? It's not terrible.
I don't think it's that bad. I'd take it.
One chance. Could even call and cut the east
You're a
east.
little worried the dealer might have like Toy Toy Honitsu though.
Yeah,
You're not
that's
really
true.
worried about the Ricci, but you're kind of worried what the dealer's cooking here.
Oh, that's the wrong
Oh, there's
one.
the next deals in. Now this is a lot of foo.
2 and 80. I think that's the first time I've seen that in Armal.
Well, that's one where at least the math is easy because that's going to be the same as 3 and 40.
7,700 plus the stick equates to 8,000 points for dealer and still running it up.
All right, dealer with a potentially Peiko if you can draw a 3-mon. Other than that, just regular Pinfu on the right. Needs to go to some of those floating honors, but looks like a potential Ricci Pinfu Tanya, maybe Peiko across the way. Yuck. I don't think I need anything else there. Out on the left, we have 2 Dora and decent shapes here. Possible Sun Anko there as well.
It feels like for Michael that you've got a chance now with 2 Dora. You have to just press forward with this one from a position at 7,400. At the same time, overall in the standings, he can afford a loss. He can take a minus 40 point fourth place and still be in good standing. Certainly feels like a great opportunity, though. The other hands across the table still finding their way, so Michael no farther away than the rest of the players.
Well, the best hand looks to be Dennis at this point, especially if you pull that Anko. That is now Ishanten for Tanyao, needing the 7-pin and 4-7-mon. Oh, and now we see the Shaw call. The problem is making a Toy Toy out of that's going to be very difficult. I actually don't like that call. It does have the advantage of scaring the table.
Yeah. I don't know how scared the table will be with just one call, though.
Well, it looks like a Pinzu Honitsu right now, and especially if that 5-7 comes out, then everyone goes, what? If you hold the 5-7 forever, then everyone remains scared. So I think you blow your cover if you end up cutting the 5-7.
Yeah, we're probably going to cut everything except for the 5-7 first.
Dennis tempted to call that, take the better shape, but goes and passes.
I think I would call it just because I'm scared of this Dora hand. That's my personal play. Ooh,
Tempai
Tempai.
for dealer would be a 7-pin penchon.
Nope.
That'd be another way to shut this down, but isn't going to.
And even spots, isn't even going to take the Dama here, just spots the chance at a better Tempai in the future.
Oh, and we have a confirmed Ipeco on the right. Dennis trying to set up the Nakasuji trap with the 5.
So...
Oh, no! That was the Ipatsumo!
And now the cover is blown, so...
It's like, okay, it's Toy Toy. You can ignore it. I would
Speaking of Toy
immediately
Toy,
chase this.
Suwako Ishantan again. We'll take
You're a
the reach
little
away.
worried just because the 7 just came out that it's somewhere around there, but he's not Tempai. It's a 7-pin 2-5 so weight. This is a Sananko on any sumo and the 2-5 so roan.
Yeah,
But we don't think the 2-5 so is going to happen because they're all dead. The 7 is also dead.
Oh, if the 5-pin hadn't come out twice, I would say there's a chance Dennis drops the 2-so. Considers this call even.
Yeah, I don't think that call really helps here. Plus, you're very worried about what the Toy Toy hand is doing.
Right, 2 big hands to be worried about. Not just the dealer, but also the Toy Toy with
Now, I have the
Dora.
potential Suji. The 7 may come out here.
Or?
But not if the hand fills up. That's just a Ricci Pinfu now, waiting 4-7 so. And that's much better in that it has any.
Yeah, Yukai has 0 tiles left in the wall. They're all being held by Dennis Patsumo.
Just Sumo, Ricci, Ipatsu, Sumo, Pinfu. No Oro will be glad to take that and jump into first place as we're in South 2.
Big swing there, fighting against Toy Toy with a Dora call and a dealer Ricci. And winning, getting rewarded for the aggression.
And Dennis, his dealer here, already Ishan 10 for potential Ricci Haku. On the right, we see a triple Yakuhai with the double South and the Hatsu pair. So pretty fast hand there. And a potential Kokushi across the way. Could also go Honitsu. with the west and north pair, I definitely just go with the Honitsu.
I was thinking if we drew some of these wind tiles, we could even think about
Well,
Shosushi.
2-pin, I'm not even thinking about it. Off we go.
On the left, there's all the
There's a
Dora.
bunch of options of which shapes to pick. We have the similar shape, 799 and 577. Back it goes.
Yep, probably would have held the 9-pin pair if it hadn't been discarded already.
Yeah, I agree with that. With the 9 out, it's kind of 50-50 to me.
Some nice
Oh, and the
flexibility.
4 pair, potential toy now on the right.
Gotta send
And
it.
we'll try and lock it in. Meanwhile, that hand across the way looking very pretty, but needs a little bit more time. Oh, well, that 3 may just get cheated.
Does not.
No, selling out and draws the Hatsu the very next turn. Now Ishanten for Hatsu Toy possible double south.
I love the way these hands are panning out. Tons of value everywhere you look.
And the question is, when this south going to come out? Is it going to be here and it gets called Khan?
Yeah, flips a
Nope,
Dora.
just going to hold it for now. And dealer now has a great incentive to just say, forget this. If we get Eddie Ricci, we just take it. But the 9 does not fit.
Oh, East
Oh,
pair up.
there's the East. Maybe thinking of Shosushi, though.
Uh-oh.
We'll see if this 4 comes out. If the 4 comes out, we know what's happening. That's an I'll take it if I get it, but I don't have to lock it in yet.
Yeah, this East is
If
twice
you
cut,
draw
so
the
that must be
7,
the
you just
pair.
preach and don't worry about it.
Right. Dora.
I would chi that. That is Dora, your good shape Tenpai Atazuke. Honestly, I think the Haku looks fine. Oh, there's the 8. We'll deal it on the left
That's got
with
Dora
3
3.
Dora.
The Dora bombs right and left. Yukoi gets one right back from Drew.
And so many hands just looking at that going, but I was so close.
Everyone had something to fight for in that hand. Hello. Drew's got
All right,
something in
well,
this
we are
one.
in South 3 with 2 Dora here. Potential Ricci, Pinfui, Peiko, maybe even Honitsu off of this. On the right, though, pretty nice hand there with the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and decent shapes elsewhere. Across the way, a little bit worse shapes, but does at least have a Dora, maybe Tanya Dora 1. And on the left, we have a Hatsu and a whole bunch of Kanchak.
I wonder the likelihood of Drew turning this to Honitsu. Oh, well. Probably was a lot higher if we kept the Haku.
Yeah, and I wonder about that. I wonder if maybe cutting the 8 so is the play there, because there's just so much incentive if you pair up either of those Yakuhai.
Yeah, we kind of have the blocks where we don't need to go Honitsu, but it's so much easier with all these pairs. If you can
Well, it could just
just
be
call.
Cheatoy. Now you're Ishanten for it.
That works. Speaking of calls, Dennis opens up with a Hatsu.
Let's see if there's a Sanso cultist. Nope. Back it goes. Still Ishanten for potential Ricci Dora 2.
And this is the really awkward spot for.
Oh, see, I would absolutely hold that 2 so. It looks like an amazing weight here.
It does. Like, we can see that it's twice held, but if you reach that, it's very likely the Chuso gets discarded by somebody.
Well, like that. E significantly worse, though. And meanwhile, we have an Ishanten on the right.
Yeah, this early call from Dennis is one that you can only really make if you're comfortable folding from two
Oh, well,
calls.
there's
Those
an
shapes were
Onko
terrible.
for dealer. So just going to cut the 8 so for now. 3 kind of fits in and does use Dora. I would cut 4-mon or 6-so. 6-so is the normal cut there. Keeps the wider Ishanten. Now I have Ishanten on the left with the Ryankan Ryanman.
If I considers the pull on their sides too weak of a call at this point in the game. Oh, that's
There's Stempa on the left, just the 5-8.
not the best feel. We wanted the Dora, but
Oh, we're
really,
going to see a Toy for dealer. Oh, and the Onko of the 8-so, that's actually Tempai. Will it be taken? Did he reach Nomi on the 2-so? Will slam it 2 out already. 1 in hand, 1 in the wall.
awkward 2-5 Suji not looking great against the Ricci, but dealer is definitely going to fight, so if they draw it, it will come out. The problem
7-mon would
is,
normally feel bad, but with a 6 pawn, it's not quite that
hmm,
terrible. A bit unfortunate for a dealer here. The 1-mon unlikely to come out because it looks very scary against the 3-mon Ricci.
yeah, although Chumon did come, Dennis still fighting,
Sumo.
and there's the
Oh,
sumo.
just sumo. That fixes the problem. Ricci sumo, no Ura, but we'll at least some of the points back. And the important thing here is to try and keep Dennis under
Mm.
30K, but preferably you go on a dealer run and don't have to worry about that.
So this could be a high
This
time
is
for doing that.
certainly a callable hand. The question, get any value from it? Speaking of fun hands, that one on the right looks like it has a lot of potential for value. The one across has potential for value. Potential Chun, Honitsu, maybe even some Toy in there, but probably just Riichi Chun. And on the left, kind of a middling 4-5-6, 6-7-8 Sanjiku type hand. Lot of distance to go. Dealer with clearly the best hand and the second best one on the right. Now the interesting thing is Dennis may just call this down for 1,000, just because the extra value isn't that important. Needs to get to 30K.
Oh, that's a big draw for Dennis. He's also picked up a Dora and just
Ishan
sends it
10
back.
throws the Dora, says, you know what, I'm just taking my 1,000. If it comes, great. If it doesn't, well, we're sad.
Yeah, I kind of like throwing something like 7 pin there and holding out for 456 Anshoku.
Well, you'd be with that 5-7 block now, so it'd be a
Boom.
bit of a mess.
Yeah, I'd
We're
probably
going to
throw
see
the 7
dealer go
back.
ahead and call for the Ishanten. 7-9 is more efficient than the 2 cut, and that is going to be the play here. Because it gives you the 1-1-1-2. Or better shape, better final weight. Although now that the 2's dying, that's not even necessarily true. There's the Chun, and that is Tempai, a 2-5-mon weight for just 1,000 to get to 30K.
Yeah, Dennis will be pretty fine, even with a small positive third. He's in a good spot in the standings currently, with 3 games after this one. Taking something like a plus 0.2 is totally acceptable.
Oh, there it is.
Not much you can
And
do.
there it
Boom!
goes. We'll just get the 1,000 over 30K, but a catastrophic deal in there for Michael. It takes the minus 20 off of it. A big winner here is going to be Yukfi with the 32.5 first place. In second, we have Drew with 10.4. Dennis in third with a point 0.2. There on the end. And rough game there for Michael, minus 43.1.
But as we said, he was in a position where he could afford a little bit of a loss. So still third place overall. And in the promotion zone, Yukai getting into the positive territory is a great start. Wants to continue with games similar to this one. Maybe it's an opportunity also to take a quick peek at what happened a little earlier. Ian, Bianca, and a couple other players were duking it out. And after finishing the series, Bianca completes the season with 255.5 points.
Locked
Notably,
in
yeah,
the
over
double
240.
promotion.
This season being the first of the double promotion seasons where players in C1 and B3 have the opportunity to move up twice if they manage to finish with a score over 240. And so, Bianca, congratulations for the trip directly into B1.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's been a big barrier to entry, especially for people that consider themselves better, is it just takes a long time to grind up. So recently, specifically this season, we added a rule that if you can average 10 points in the season, you'll get a double promotion up to B1. You don't get a free pass into the A leagues, but you get 2 promotions up to B1 potentially.
And looking at
Bianca has
these,
secured that.
yeah, not surprising with 11 first places, 5 seconds, and only 3/4. Excellent showing here for Bianca. Ian also pretty close to achieving that goal. If in his final 2 games he can accomplish 38.9 points, he will also get a double promotion.
It
Doing
just feels so good to not have to go through it. The grind is long. It is a constant issue that anyone who joins the league is complained about. So this is what we can do to at least alleviate some of it. Again, you can't get into the A leagues like this. You're gonna have to fight it out in B1, but it will cut down some of that time to climb up.
Relative though to like the pro leagues in Japan and other places, certainly the turnaround is a lot shorter because we
Oh
have a
yes, well
chance
we
to
have
promote every
quarterly
quarter.
seasons opposed to annual or semi-annual seasons.
Right. Imagine like taking a whole year to have your chance to promote. We wouldn't
Uh,
we would need more than double promotions at that point.
let's see, we should be getting another game soon.
Yep. I
Says
believe
in a minute, so maybe head over there.
looks like it's going to be Drew in the dealer seats. Dennis to the right. Not Viet. Michael across the table. And you quite on our left. Um, I'm wondering about the bonus promotion spots B3. A lot of times the lower divisions get a couple extra, maybe more than a couple extra. And positive spots in B3 go all the way down to 10th place, or sorry, 11th place. You must be positive in order to get a promotion, a bonus promotion. So that first game was a big accomplishment if for Week 5. You can stay up there and maybe even make up some ground. We'll have a better chance of getting one of those bonus spots if there are some. And I think with double promotions happening, I don't know if that will help the odds of bonus promos or lessen that chance.
Well, it's going to depend what division you're getting into, and it's only going to be one or two people that get the double promotions out of each potential option. As we say, because of the spots, it can only be B3 and C1. So there won't be a whole bunch, but it should end up cutting down a couple promotions in B2. It may make promotion to B3 a little easier, though.
Mm. Yeah, so far not many people have hit that mark this season. Bianca is the only one confirmed to double promote, and Jinwoo is currently above the mark in C1, but has 2 games yet to play.
All right, and we're off. Whole bunch of pairs here. Maybe a Chitoitsu, maybe a Tanyao on the right. Looks like a pretty standard Pinfu hand. Also has a floating Dora here. May go Tanya if the Dora doesn't end up fitting across the way. Looks like an Itsu on the left. We have a Hatsu pair. Couple other pairs, but this may just be a call and go because they don't really see a good way to build value.
Yeah, nobody with serious value just yet. No, a
I don't
dozen
know.
of
I think
these.
the Shinitsu that's being built across the way is the best value by far at this table.
Well, it looks a little okay. Well, now I'm starting to believe that 7-so is a real sticky point for that hand. But now that we've figured that part out, we actually have a realistic chance.
I'd be calling anything, especially the Tuso. Instapone for me. And
Ooh,
passed. Going and keeping the closed Ishant, and I would not have taken a second to call that.
yeah. Even with one of the 1-so out, it's basically impossible for that to be used by anybody else. Seems like a great opportunity to go for, even if it's just a Mongon, that's still 8,000 points. But this is also Chito Ishanten, so Michael considering that possibility as well, I'm sure.
3-so doesn't really fit there for Dennis's hand. We'll hold it in the off chance 4-so is drawn.
Yeah, we'll get
Give
rid of the
that another
Dora
gun.
prematurely.
Well, it's just not really fitting into the hand. And that's the thing about the Dora is it could pair up, but even if it pairs up, what are you going for in that hand? Chitoitsu? It feels like it's just always going Tanya. By the way, please ignore the potential Daisangan that just died on the left.
Well, the second Drew drops a tune, I'll start to believe. We do have a Mochi Mochi
Well, the
situation.
Haku being dead is the other part of this.
Shosangan. But Drew?
Actually saw one of those today. Shosangen on a Rinshan even.
That is very impressive. Did they Rinshan the dragon, or did they Rinshan the other side of the
No,
wing?
they had the other pair. We're just Riyadman and Rinshan that was sitting there hoping to call the last one and just go Tonki for it. There's the one so call.
All right, Ishanten. And perhaps the other consideration was that the Chuso basically puts us Kutsuki around the 4.
Yes, this
Uh,
will be a potential better weighting shape,
mhm.
but at the same time, with Shinitsu, I don't care about my weighting shape. I want Tempai.
Give me Tempai, give it to me now.
And again, speaking of Yakuman, please ignore the Suwanko Ishanten.
I don't know how these players keep drawing triplets. This never happens in my games. At least not to me.
Fits in fairly nicely. The problem is the rest of the hand's a bit of a mess. We'll go ahead and cut the tube on there. We'll get an excellent chance to use the south potential safe tile later. Ooh, 6 6 7 7 chun chun. What do you cut?
Uh, no greed. Okay, that's fair.
I don't mind the 7. You're a little worried about the potential Sozu. Because that one so call, you look at the bottom and goes, that just a really weird Chinitsu? That's exactly what it is. Just an
Yeah.
amazing starting hand that hasn't really budged.
It seems that Yukite tends to play pretty much the most efficient option if given the chance. So not surprised to see this here.
There's a 2 that can be called for Tempai. Passed again.
Mm.
Does not want that Forso Tonki.
Yeah, certainly doesn't feel like a good Tonki. Um, and you have so many draws that will give you a better weight than just that Tonki.
Yeah, but it's the end of second row. I think you have to take it at this point. I can at least see an argument for passing in the first situation. Well, this should just be an easy call. And
Yeah,
that is now Toy Toy, but it can only one on the 3 because that shoot is not coming out.
this should be a Chi.
Chi.
Okay, we'll take it. Waiting on the 6-9 does end up with a good weight eventually.
Funnily enough, if they had passed the Chi, they would have drawn the Forso. But it would have been a pretty brutal Shabo, even worse than the Tonki. And this pretty much kills Yukai's chances as well. After having drawn that 4. So,
Oh, there's the 9, and not going to throw it. Good dodge there by Yukfai.
yeah,
Says, you know what, this hand wasn't worth
Chi.
it. This should be a Chi, and then it's Tempai on the right on 4-7. So can switch here to an 8-2 Shampo, and I just throw it back.
yeah, it could go to 7-2. Well, whatever it is, you don't want to be on the 2. That's dead. So,
Well, there's Dora, but Dora does not look scary. Oh, there's the 3.
the
Out
last
it
3.
goes. It's just a toy, but at least a dealer, and it's going to be 3,900 points.
Drew will get the repeat, and a lovely little set of tiles here. Mostly because it has a chance at 2-3-4 Sanchoku.
See, I tried that earlier today, and it let me down. That was the hand that had that Shosanga Rinshan. Is I had Tempai for 2-3-4 Sanchoku, and it didn't work for me.
Yeah, that is unbelievable. I'll have to see the log and try to work out what exactly went wrong. Usually it's a guarantee.
Oh, could call this for the 1 Han. I agree with passing. But you're a little sad the West has come out because you just want to draw the 3 and wait 3 pin Shaw Shampone, but it's not going to be there.
Yeah,
Regardless, each on 10.
Hmm.
On the right, we have a Pinfu type shape, maybe a 79 Sanchoku eventually. Requires some shifting. A crossway, maybe Chinitsu, if not just a Tanyao. On the left, yuck. What do you do when you have a hand like that other than just throw it in the trash?
Yeah, it looks like 90% of those tiles are going to be in the discard pool pretty soon. Maybe 50% now that we've drawn the 3 pin. We can hold a lot of those terminals for Itsu or something like that in the Pinsu.
Bit surprised that the West was cut from the dealer here. You don't really want it, but you'd still take the Tempine. It's not like the East does anything for this hand.
Yeah, double tone is the thing, but it's... you still have to draw another one first.
And then hope someone doesn't have a pair of them.
Yeah, this is a shape.
Well, it could be a 1-2-3 Sanchoku now, but the shapes aren't really there, so it throws it back. I agree.
Michael's definitely doing the math on that. Like, what are the odds this is a being Sancho? But I don't want those shapes anyway. I'd rather just go for Chinitsu.
That's an amazing shape. That's a completed shape in a 2-3-3-4-4. So it could even pair up the Dora and have the Richi Pinfui Peiko Dora too.
And if you draw, the
Doesn't matter. I'm cheating. I'm not even thinking on that. And that's something we've seen is Michael does not cheat like taking calls when he's unsure of what the final shape's going to be.
Yeah, maybe just confident that he can get there closed. Oh, that's a 2 F4 and an 8. Well, there's that Tempai.
Oh, well, that's the tempo I was saying. You have to take this, don't you?
That should be
Yeet.
2-5-8 here. Ichi Ipeiko.
Is Yupeko confirmed on the 5?
Not
I
on the
know it is on
5.
the 2 and the 8.
Yeah, that shouldn't be on the 5.
I don't think it is on the 5.
But
Oh, this dealer
oh,
deals Ipatsu. Richi Ipatsu Pinfu. Yupeko Dora 2. That's going to be a Hanemon unless there's Aura 2. Gets the huge win, a Baimon. And that certainly changes the dynamics of this game.
Now that's all the reason you need to stay closed, huh?
I mean, if you just hit Aura, it's definitely nice to stay close. Speaking of fun hands, what about a Sanchiku Doko potential here?
I would be inclined to call it for no other reason. It's a fun hand to win. We are Chito Ishanten. It would definitely, I don't know if I should say slow us down, but move us back in Shanten.
I
Uh,
think it'd slow us down here. Of course, we're looking around at the rest of the table. There aren't 9s that I'm seeing anywhere, which is really surprising. On the right, we have a Pinfu, Tanya, maybe Peiko. I guess maybe not Tanya with that one so pair, but I'm looking for excuse to cut the one so pair and go Tanya. Across the way, Pinfu Taipan can accept a Dora, and on the left we have an East pair. Probably just call and go. We'll see if that is the plan, and it is. So just going to try and go for the quick one, Han.
yeah, Dennis made an important decision here. Drew the 8, so gave up on Chitoi and Doko at the same time. Cutting the 9. It is a fairly wide Ishanten.
And that is an Ishanten across the way. That floating 4-pin and 8-mon now. Of course, with that 8, you can connect to a whole bunch of stuff with that 4-mon. Oh,
Oh, that's not good.
ew, 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 ew. Back it goes.
The worst possible tempai from that shape.
Yeah, I agree with at least cutting out. I may have gone 1-3 so and just kind of locked in the Tanyao. Because then almost any Manzu is in amazing shape.
Yeah, this way we get Pinfu more frequently, because Tanya isn't a guarantee, but now we can hold the 1 and think about Itsu.
Yes, can get the 2 and the 9 would be Itsu.
We do sacrifice a lot of efficiency here, but the upside is pretty massive if we can get there.
Well, we have a dealer Tempai now, Richi Pinfu on 3-6mon. And we see the 3s have 3 out and 6 2 out. So 3 outs for the dealer left in the wall. And that is Tempai on the left if the 7 gets pushed. Waiting on Genbutsu 7 so.
And not the worst jam when you see 3-5 pins in
Oh,
your own
and
hand.
there's Tempai across the way. You have to fight this.
Ooh,
Especially with the safe entry on the 4. So he's waiting on Dora for Richi Itsu Dora 1.
yeah, could have gone for the 2-5 weight, but wants the value. That's greedy.
Oh, well, there's the 2. You can't throw that. You can't do it.
Even
I'd
with
probably cut 2 pin.
even with the Genbu weight against Reach. Oh, 3's gonna come
Oh,
out.
throws the 3, hits the dealer. And we'll think that's the more expensive end, but we see what's actually going on here.
No, that's almost a Sashikomi at that point.
Ooh, dealer with a potential Honitsu. Has at least the Hatsu pair, can call this. Plenty of options. He definitely wants to go Honitsu. That 4-pin is, I want to go Honitsu. We're not selling out on it completely yet, but that's what we want. On the right, probably a 2-3-4 Sanchiku type hand. Definitely a Tanyao shape. Across the way, you have that floating Tuso that I'm not quite sure how it's going to fit into the rest of the hand. That really determines how everything else goes. You have a Dora, maybe Richi Dora 1. And on the left, we have the North Call. The problem is the rest of the hand just doesn't have any value. Maybe just trying to shut down this East too.
My dealer draws the East after the pawn. That's a sell. And why not with these shapes?
Desperately needs the 5-mon. The problem is 2 of them are very locked up in that hand to the left.
Yeah, but there are ways around this. If we just call all of these Yakuhai, we could end up on a 6-9
Oh,
weight.
Tempai now waiting on that 5-mon. And you have to wait on the 5. You have to take the Tempai there.
Tempai is...
Tempai is good. And that speaking of Tempai being good, there's a 4-7 on the left now. Will just be pay. Oh, can switch. I would definitely switch just because the East is worth so much here. It is double Yakuai. Would still only be Mongon, but he draw a 9, then you could switch and you'd have potential Hanemon.
Yeah, and Michaels doesn't believe this is a Honitsu Tempai yet. Cuts the Tumon.
8 doesn't really do anything. Ooh, that is a very wide Ishanten on the right now.
Floating
Good enough
around.
to fight. We may see the 4-pin come out here.
Done.
There it is. And speaking of cheap deal-ins that move things around, that qualifies.
Yeah, they've been trading these cheap deal-ins to prevent the monsters from winning like we had in the last game. But that's an interesting
I don't
sign.
know. Winning a Baimon and a Patsu kind of sounds like a pretty big hand to me.
Well, they were trading Mongons back and forth. Finally, they're like, you know what? We can't let these big hands win anymore. Let's deal with the cheap ones.
Yeah, Michael said I've had enough of this, and dominates and has the strong first position here. And dealer with a couple of Onko. The rest of the shapes aren't great though. On the right, a Dora, decent shapes, probably a Ricci Pinfu Dora across the way. Now Ishan 10 for Ricci Pinfu, and on the left, whole bunch of Sozu, but probably hard to get to Itsu. You really want to connect to that 4-pin with a 2-pin Dora, and then maybe you can go Ricci Pinfu. Ideally, the 2-3-4 Sanjuku, but that may be a little too far away at this point.
Yeah, definitely advantage Drew across the table with this Ishan 10. Should be the first attempt by, but I kind of like Dennis's shapes. If I'm holding, if I'm in spot, I like having that Anko of 9-pin. Really gives me a lot of flexibility.
Eat.
Oh, well, there it is. As called, we figured it was going to be the fastest hand, and it is definitely the fastest hand. Waiting on the 6-9. Dealer draws one of those sixes. We see 5 of them out now, so 3 in the wall. Well, 2 on the wall. Dealer seems very attracted to them.
Dealer sees a fourth place region and says, I am out. Here's 3 souths, and I'll figure out what to
Well,
do
you
after that.
say that, but you can just go Tanya with it if you get the right call, especially if another 7 comes out. But we know the 7's locked up.
Yeah, we have 8-pin. 8-pin should be pretty safe here with the 3 sevens cut and the early 7 from Drew.
Oh, there it
Oh.
is. Trust the half Suji, and that's why you don't trust the half Suji.
Yeah, not much to go off of there, and Yukai was Ishanten for Chitoi.
And we are in East 4 here. Dealer is Yukfai and has kind of a Pinfu hand. The shapes need a little bit of work, so it would really help on the right. Ugh. Maybe a Chanta. You have a floating 5-pin, though, so I think you just play efficiency to see what happens. I'm not happy when I see a hand like that. Across the way, Tooth of War Sanchiku probably being the best route, but it's going to require a lot of maneuvering. Has 2 Dora, though, so just play efficiency to see what happens. You want an excuse to call, so I might hold that Hatsu a little longer than normal, just in case you pair it up. And on the left, a whole bunch of pairs, probably going toward Chitoitsu.
Yeah, especially because the east is the door indicator, so less likely to be able to call that. Especially since it didn't come out in the
Well,
first
see,
few
when I see
discards.
that Chun and the East pair up, I might just look for an excuse to go Toy Toy. The problem's going to be the 6-pin.
Yeah, and we probably even look towards Honitsu as well, but the east is still going to be a bit of a sticking point.
Yeah, I don't even really think Honitsu in a hand like that. I think you just go for the Chitoitsu. If you see the 6-pin or the 7, so those I would call. I might even pass the East.
Yeah, that's our last east, so passing would guarantee the Chitoi play. And maybe if we draw some like 3 so, 2 so, we can consider Honitsu well.
Oh, well, now you don't have to worry about it. Now we're going Toy Toy. Easy call. This should not be okay. Even a very closed player like Michael, like, you know what? I have to take that.
Yeah, I want to check the stats on Michael. It's 36% call rate this season is still pretty high, but this series has played very closed.
Could she this? I would not take this. Yeah, I agree with passing that one. Just because you only have 1-9, you'd be shutting the value of the hand down to nothing.
Right. And there's no 9 so left after that, so it almost feels like you have a better win rate calling the 7 so and then the 8 so boom.
Dealer does not chi for Tempai. Seeing a little more value here with the potential 2-3-4 Sanjuku. Although that 1-4 pin is kind of dying.
A small note, I just got ooh.
Oh, that's unfortunate. If the would have gone Honitsu, this would be Tempai now.
Yeah, well, we can't consider it now.
You can't really expect it. And
Pump.
you're now Toy Tempai anyway, so it's fine.
I didn't notice Drew had drawn a pair of Dora, but the South now Mochi Mochi, so that was the way to bail out the hand. It's just not going to get there.
Well, the other part of this is it makes the 8 so look so safe. You're not that worried about it dealing again. Well, you will be when it hits. We can see
Chi.
potential Ochizuke call here. Will take it. Can only win on the force, so it is dead, but it may come out across. Ooh, this is really bad,
Go.
and Dennis deals into the Toy
As you
with Chun and Ton be the Mongon. I said that 8 so looks very good when the 7 gets pulled like that, and that's what happens. Rough deal in there.
Yeah, it was looking like, they were just getting a lot of Pinzu. The Sozu had come out a bunch, and the 7 So Puln was their upper So block. So they're probably waiting in the Manzu if they have an even spread of shapes, but certainly not the case this time.
All right, well, Drew's dealer here needs to fill in this Penshaw, and their shapes are okay, but it's just a Pinfu hand. A Doro would also help. On the right, potential Itsu, potential 1, 2, 3 Sanchoku. Lots of routes for that hand. Across the way, Hatsu Anko and a couple Penshan. Has 2 Doras, so probably doesn't care. That is a call anything you can, except maybe the con.
And even then, you can
And I
consider
say
it.
maybe. And
From
on the left, we have kind of a Pinfu type hand, but the shapes aren't great. Potentially Itsu and Pinzu, but will require a little bit of effort. Ishanten across the way has a couple 5 pairs in that 3-pin Penshan. Well, that's not the tile you want. And just says, you know what? I'm not even going to take it. Forget that. We've seen this many times that Michael does not trust bad shapes.
Yeah, I think from a position of first, you can feel fine to drop a Dora here and just take your good shape, but he very clearly wants to use both of these Dora, maybe even more.
3-pin nice fill for dealer. Still a little bit of work to do.
Drew holding on to this Hatsu, just in gonna eventually we're gonna see that possibility for a con, but I'm sure it will be passed.
Yeah, I don't think that gets taken. Oh, the 3 is the perfect
Each.
tile if it comes out, but it fits into the hand very nicely. So it's going to be a Ricci Pinfu waiting on 1 Formon, and dealer is in deep trouble here.
Well, you've been holding this green dragon. Maybe now's the time to cut it. Oh, it's the one.
Don't.
Instead, deals into Ipatsu, Ricci Ipatsu Pinfu. No Aura will be 3,900 though, and makes a pretty clear 4th place. Jumps Dennis into 2nd, and we're in South 2. Dennis's dealer with a Hatsu pair and a floating Dora. Our shapes are reasonably useful. 2, 2, 4, 4, 6, a floating 5 so. The one mon not really any help though. On the right, kind of a Tanyao type hand. You're going to have to get rid of all those honors eventually, unless they pair up really quickly. Across the way, few pairs, not much else there. And on the left, similarly, probably a Tanyao hand. The shapes aren't great for anyone. The best hand is probably the dealer, and I don't even like the dealer's hand that
Pump.
much.
Yeah, it's basically just because they can call, and outside of that,
It
it's
just says, I don't even want value from this. Just get me out of this hand. Throws the door immediately.
with so many pairs. Even the Dora pair up is
I would definitely have cut the one mon, and that's why.
lose the value, and that means that the rest of the table.
Speaking of pairs, we have a Chichoitsui Shunten across the way.
Well, that's the way to fix bad separated tiles. Just pair them all up, and
Well, that's not a pair.
hmm.
You
Pump.
see the Chun come out. I imagine it gets called. There it goes.
We have seen a significant number of toys this game.
One pin and pay won't fit, so back they go. The thing is, when you get that 8-pin Anko, you're maybe thinking, I can just go Tanya if I get the 2 or 5 so pulled.
Yeah, and that
Because
makes
this could just be a Toy.
hmm.
Toy Tanya is always acceptable.
With the Tanya backup in particular, it gives the 4 pin something in hand, and it makes the call a lot more reasonable.
Well, I think
Despite
the real question is, when does Dennis cut this 5? Because I think if the 5 comes out fairly soon, I would just take it.
yeah, just desperately looking for a shape improvement here.
and has gotten nothing. It said you threw the Dora, and then the wall has just laughed at Dennis ever since.
Yeah, the Drew has no use for these lower mon tiles. Just hasn't drawn a single one.
Well, there's the 8 Mononko on the left. Now Ishan 10 can get the 2-4.
Not quite the shape we're looking for. Will confirm 5 blocks for us, but I think we could do better than that.
2-pin does fit in this hand. Now also to Chia 3. And there's our first pawn. And Tempai there on the left, the 5-so would be blocked. It is going to deal into the cheap hand. No chance for the Toy Toy. Will only be the 1300, and we will move to South 3. But
Okay.
even that cheap hand drops Dennis to third place.
Mm.
And now we have our leader overall in the dealer position with the Chun pair. Can accept a Dora. The rest of the shapes aren't great. That is a cut of I want to dream of Daisongen.
You might as well. You've got all these points. You really don't need the dealership again, so.
And that's the punish.
Ah.
The obligatory right on cue. On the right, we have potential 1, 2, 3 Sanjiku. Will require a bunch of shifting. You want to go Chanta type hand with that, but it's just not there. I don't even know what to do with a hand like that. Across the way, kind of a Pinfu hand. And the 6 fills is amazingly helpful for it. So probably just a Ricci, Pinfu, Tanyao, Dora hand now, because that 9-so isn't going to really fit. The pay is going to come out. Definitely looks more Tanyao now. On the left, we have a Pinfu-ish shape. You need the 3-mon to pull it in. I really dislike that 6-pin cut. I feel that the best value in this hand is not hedging the Chi Toy. It's just going for a more regular hand. I think there's the best route's probably a 6, 7, 8 Sanjiku. And anytime you're cutting a mid tile like that, you have to consider what you're losing. The rest of these shapes are not good. Now, though, says, okay, does not take the Chi Toy Ishan 10, so that even more confuses me on the 6-pin.
Mm. I feel
And I
like
feel,
it's
especially when you get the 5th pair, you should just cut the 2-mon and stick with it.
with another 7-so coming out. It feels like the Pego is so much harder to win. I'd rather be on the Chitoy. In fact, if he draws another pair, he might just commit to Chitoy now. Oh.
Oh, well, there's the 7. So now perfect Ishan 10, but still going to need that 7. So we see one of them pretty locked up across the way. And of course, one discarded and one in hand. Oh, well, that is headless Ishan 10 across the way. Does not get the Tanya most likely now. We'll have to draw 6 and shift.
Yeah, in South 3, Ricci, Pinfu, Dora 1
Well,
has.
that's Tempai on the right. Won't take it, though. Would be a Kanchan 5-mon Richinomi. Doesn't want it. Oh, and what if Itipatsumo? We'll take the Furry 10 now for Ricci, Pinfu, Sumo, probably Dora.
Yeah, given there's only one 4-mon left in the wall, more odds to hit the Dora. And this freezes the Honitsu from dealer, most likely. It's too hard to
Well,
cut
Dealer
five
just has
six.
no incentive to fight here
Yeah.
and won't do so. At least not yet.
Really not a lot safe in that hand other than this Chun pair.
And Dennis has a huge incentive to fight here. Because even if you deal into a Mongon, it doesn't drop you to 4th place. But it is a -8, which always hurts.
One so looks a little sus here.
I think everything looks a little sus here. I don't think any good choice. Oh, well, that's Tempai for dealer, I believe. Hold on, let me take a
Maybe
look. No,
Ishan.
it's not. It's Ishan 10.
Okay, finds the 1-pin. That's
Also
get two
means that
safe
4
outs.
is dead, so now we'll be Richi, Sumo, Pinfu, or Dora on the right if it is sumoed. Look at all those Pinzu. I think any tile now other than a 1 is Tempai. Oh, and there's another Dora there on the left. That's obviously not coming out.
Yeah, I think Dennis trying a little bit.
trying to fight this, but just doesn't want to throw the Pinzu here.
Instant 3-pin. Okay, that's safe now. Is there any world back into Chi-2? I just don't think we have the draws. Yeah,
I
no.
wonder. I'd achieve the 3 and maybe cut the 2. But may just be willing to fold out here and not fight this.
Yeah, 7 pins, okay. We'll try the 8 instead. No chance.
Tempai across the way on 1 4-pin. Cannot reach either. Are any draws left?
You Joker
Nope. Will
found.
just be 2 players Tempai. But Michael, fine with that result. Going to have a huge situation here with a big lead in South 4. Yukfai is dealer here, has a floating Dora, decent shapes. Maybe you want to go Tanya, cut the 1-1 and connect something else to that 7-mon. On the right, a whole bunch of 2-mon. Shapes are pretty good there. Not too much value yet. It may just be Richi Tanya. Although you can only go Richi, Sumo, Tanya, Dora. That would be enough to take over second place. Across the way, Ishan 10 will just be 1 Han most likely. And that's
Hmm.
not enough without a direct hit.
Yeah, 31 gap. You get the Ricci stick and the home bod to pick up 1300, but yeah, another 1800 needs to come from direct hit.
Well, ideally, you just draw a Dora and shift, and then you don't have to worry about it.
Outside of that, like if you draw the Anko of the Haku, you may be able to get enough food with an open hand later, but it's
Well, if you get the Onko of the Haku, you just Richi. But you need the Tempai first, of course, always being the big obstacle.
and there's just 579 in the Mazu, 579 in the Sozu.
Huge draw there for dealer. Now Ishan 10, needing a 6-pin, a 1-mon, a 7-pin, or a 2
Interesting.
5-mon. Ugh. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Nank can even call it down. You have potential Sanjku there. Your favorite Sanjku, no less.
Absolutely. It makes the second door draw really good here, or just
Oh,
reach.
wow.
Oh
Could
my
even
goodness.
justify a Dama on this one. The problem is we know the 2 is just super locked up. So this looks like a great weight, but there are only 2 left.
But Drew might just cut it eventually anyway because nothing's been
Doesn't have
cut except
any
for honors and
safety here.
Monzu.
Well, I think the problem here is there is such a huge incentive to just fight this down
Mm,
with a Richi Tanyao Dora that he may just shove anything.
that's a good point. Oh,
Oh, could call this, but
it's not enough.
it's so sad because that just locks
Gee.
in 4th if you take it. And we'll go ahead and call, but not take Tempai.
Okay, we'll see how this shifts. Tanya Dora, maybe if you work your way down to 345 Sanch.
Come
Oh
on.
no, that's
Oh,
tough.
just gets the last 2 in the wall. Arichi, Sumo, Tanyao, Sanjugu, Dora, Hanemon. The
Well,
aura doesn't hit, but so that all of a sudden is a very close game. Now 1,200 short of first place, and as the East Yakuai pair can call with a Dora, great situation here, as Yukfai is not done yet.
234 delivers once again, and Michael says, "You know what? I had enough. I'm just gonna call this down." Yukify matches that though with the East Palm.
On the right, nice little Pinfu hand, not too much value there. It does have a Dora, though, across the way. Whole bunch of lower Sozu, but similarly, the same problem. There's just no value here. Doesn't really need it. Probably just going to try and play for third here. And as mentioned on the left, the Chun call. The rest of shapes aren't great, but you don't need great shape. You just need to win the hand.
Yeah, it's definitely a race now, an efficiency battle, and it feels like there's a lot of conchons in both hands. Slow shapes to improve. That's a pair though.
It is a pair TM. That's one of those where you take a look at it. That is one of the hands of all time.
Yeah, if that's your pair, then you've got another conchon all of a sudden.
Well, I mean, if you draw the 8s, though, there are routes with it. But here, I'm just cutting the 9. Yeah, I actually don't mind this, though, as a 5-6 plus 6-7 shape, though. Well, similarly, across the way. Well, that's a pair. That's a workable pair. Now you have Kanchan Kanchan, but you could turn it into Turiyamen and Sozu, depending on what's drawn. Speaking of pairs, that seems to be the theme of today,
Mm,
and Dennis getting a bunch of them. Now, that 8 is a huge potential for Yukfai.
yeah, Michael holds on to that 8 pin. Not going to feed it just yet.
Ishanten on the right.
And it's fine enough for Michael if somebody else wins this hand, as long as he's not the one dealing it in.
Oh, 2 Dora now for dealer. Problem is the shapes aren't great
Ooh,
for this
passes.
point in the hand. Oh, well,
Most efficiency is to
now
skip
we
the
see how
Dora.
greedy this is going to be.
Very greedy.
Max greed. Interestingly, the force show might come out right here, and it
Boom.
is. That's going to
Ooh.
be Tempai. Which weight? There are
6.
2 8s out, so the 6 is the normal weight, and this looks really bad for Dennis.
Unless Dennis has Sonical Dreams.
If Dennis draws that 5 or the 8, I think it just comes out, though.
Surely. That'd be East Door 2.
I can't pull this and cut the 1 2, and that would get you out of trouble.
Hmm.
Similar, I really don't like the 9 cut there. I want to cut the 1 2. Because what's this 1 2 3 3 3 get you?
Yeah, once those come out a couple times, maybe he's hoping to pair up the 2 so here.
No, the 1 so is pretty dead at this point.
Michael's still sitting Ishantan.
Dude, Ken Khan here. Won't take it.
Really, you're cutting for the draw opportunity, but then that could give.
Right. Well, the thing is, if dealer's Tempai, then you don't have to worry because you're going to have another hand. And if dealer's not Tempai, it's great because then you just win.
Right. You don't want to give the dealer a chance to get extra value if they're going to repeat anyway.
Yeah, your hand's so bad. I'd go 2 pin, 2 pin. Load and cut the 4.
Still holds out hope for the 2 pin palm.
And sticks on the 6 weight. Does not switch to the Dora Shampoo.
Yeah, Drew's been holding this tempo. Now has Tanyao, but still not going to reach it.
Well, that's a Dora across the way, so that's not coming out.
Would it be funny if it did? Gonna go 1-2
Yeah,
now.
there is the 1 2.
I also want to cut the 4 pin a second time here, just to bait out the 2. Or this 3 looks like it will come out.
Got
Boom!
opponent. Why wouldn't you? Yeah, take your Tempai.
That 2 is just safe.
You're scared if the dealer draws the Haite there, but you'll definitely take it. Continues the lead there, and all of a sudden, this is great news for everyone but Dennis, who's now very close. We have 3 repeats here.
That 3 home buzz definitely going to be added to the math.
Well, dealer here can just call the Hatsu and go. Not too much value, but you don't need it, especially 3 home but in a close game like this. We'll go ahead and cut the early 7-mon. Doesn't want to hedge near Dora, just wants to go full speed,
Boom!
but still keeping these potential Yakuhai for later. On the right, kind of a Pinfu shape, a couple pairs, has a Dora. Across the
Boom!
way, Hatsu pair. And their shapes are reasonable. 3 would really help. But the best hand is on the left. That looks like a Horitsu Chun with the Dora. 8-mon being definitely the indesired tile.
And we saw the 8 still come out before the Haku. The Haku's just completely dead, so this is definitely a Honitsu force. Michael not afraid to open for this one. And Dennis really has to think now because as it becomes more and more apparent that Michael's
Oh,
going
well,
for this
there's the first
Honitsu,
8
have to question this
on
9
the
mon, 6
right.
mon.
Ooh, 5, a big draw there on the left. We have Ishanten for dealer. And, of course, Ishanten on the left. It's effectively a 2 2, 3 4 5, 5 6 7, floating 9, floating 3 so.
If you draw the tempi around the 3, so I think he'll just take it though.
At this point, well, it depends what the shape. If it's like a 1 so, I'm not going to take it. If it's a 4 so, fine.
Yeah, even if it's a 1 so, I think I would take it anyway just because dealer can't use it. That's two chances to win.
Well, we're about to see. This is the just about the worst draw you could have gotten for it.
Take it.
Does take it, waiting on the 4 so. And dealer now Tempai on 3 mon 9 so.
Yeah,
Oh,
this.
and there's your 2, and now you could have pulled it and been Tempai. I would definitely have pulled that and
Hmm.
just waited for the potential shift later in Manzu. I think not calling that's a bit of a mistake.
Yeah, Tonki's not terrible here. I mean, it's not like this Kanchan's much better. Second chance.
Oh, like, look at how
Sumo.
disgusting a 1 Montaku is. But doesn't matter as dealer hits the Sumo with extra Fu and the 3 Hombo and jump out to a big lead. And we now have 4 repeats.
Yeah, keep in mind the game doesn't end, folks. So we're going to be sticking around. Michael with one more chance to come back. Maybe even more chances, depending on how much dealer wants to repeat.
All right, dealer with a potentially Peiko in Pinzu with a 2-2-3-3. On the right, we have East pair, North pair, and a Penchon fill. Goes and cuts the North pair. Doesn't really believe in the Honitsu because, well, actually, I don't know why. Just Honitsu's good enough to take over third place. I'd be planning to call that. Def wants to go Pinfu with it, though. And now as a 3-4-6 across the way, we have a bunch of pairs. And the question is, what are you going to do with those 9-pin? If you don't have the 9s, you can just have Tanya and not have to worry about it. But Dennis just wants any hand to get this game over with. On the left, we have a potential 6-7-8 or 79 Sanshugu there. So that's definitely the plan for value. But unless it's closed, it's not going to be enough.
Drew's a man on a mission right now. North, north, east, east. Get these pairs out of my hand.
Let's see, with the 1200, is a 22 sumo enough? I think it is.
Yeah, gap right now.
Maybe 23 sumo.
2,800. So 12 plus 23 will bridge the gap.
So can't even go for the open Sanshugu Nomi, but would have to sumo or direct hit. And does not chi the 9, so definitely planning to stay closed. And dealer out Ishan 10. I think the 7 mon is the normal cut here, because if you get anything in lower Pinzu, you are in great shape. Instead goes and plays for the widest Tanyao.
Yeah, 3-pin not a bad alternative. Both are definitely acceptable. Some players like the dislike the overlapping acceptance of the 1-4.
Ishunten on the right will likely be Richinomi, though. But similarly, Richinomi is good enough with 4 Homba. Oh, well, now more potential for E10.
Well, I guess we're cutting a pair and hoping to draw it back.
Yeah.
Home.
Dealer says, I've had enough of this. I'm just going to call for my Tanya. There are 4 Homba out there. I want all of them.
Yeah, this lead not secure. Give me more points.
That would be Freeton and not allowed to win on the 9 anyway, so out goes the 8.
Yeah.
Tuso pass, that's a bit surprising to me. I'd have called that. Probably thinks the hand's so bad that calling doesn't really help.
4 Mon, 4 So would be great draws for dealer to improve the shape.
Well, that's not the expected draw, but now you can cut the 2-3 and not have to worry about the Furi 10.
Yeah, if you start with a 2 Mon, okay, it goes to 4.
I
So,
would definitely have cut the 2-3 because you also have a 4-5-6 Sanshoku route.
yeah, both are very wide, but I like the idea of Sanchoku.
Well, now you just be Tempai, but Richinomi would be good enough. But because the 4 was cut, now it goes for the headless and is still Ishunten.
Nope, that's a
And
tough
there's
hit.
the 6 pair up. That's the Ricci. So it ends up in the same spot anyway. I just wouldn't have because the 6 would have been a Ricci tile and dealt to the dealer afterwards.
Right.
So it doesn't up work out. And that is Tempai on the left. We'll go ahead and Dama. This is Pinfu, Sanshoku confirmed, possibly Peiko.
Oh, but the 3.
Oh no, the 3 so the 1 tile.
Nomi.
That's going to deal in Ricci Nomi, and that changes the entire position of the game as that's going to secure first place for Yukfai. And the result is Drew sneaks out with that third at minus 21.7. But as mentioned, Yukfai with the win at 34.5. We have Michael with that big Baimon early. Couldn't end up holding because of that gigantic sumo towards the end in South 4 and that dealer run. And Dennis taking 4th place there with the minus 32.
Oh, what a battle. It looked like it was Michael's game. after that huge Baimon Sumo, but Yukai battling back with some monster wins, especially that last dealership, confirming, pulling ahead and then confirming the victory. What a gorgeous hand from Michael to try to take it back in the end. But it will be the winner is as Yukai. And looking at the standings after two, Dennis, Yukai back to neck and neck there, seventh and eighth place outside of the promotion zone. We'll have two games to finish up. Michael, the only player of this group in that guaranteed spot. We'll see if he can hold off two more challenges. He's already ahead of Mary Jane, who is finished with the season. Ian has two games to play. Probably won't drop too far below, even with two unlucky fourths. But Leslie, Caden, 4 games to play. It's gonna be a lot riding on those games. In the
All
meantime,
right, we're going to stay at this table. We're going to switch over to a B1 game that looks like it's about to start.
yeah, we can hop into B1. This is Shinlong
Jinlong?
ID Kevin Leon. I wonder if we'll be able to actually watch to put Leon in here. Okay, it is working properly. Leon actually acting as a substitute in this game.
This will be a B1 match.
And I do know that this is the 4th game of their series. And a
Yeah,
lot.
he's in long there in excellent position. Barring a complete catastrophe, we'll be getting that promotion out of B1. And of course, I see the graphic still says B3. There, it's getting updated. Okay, and Irie's the one to really watch here, and Kevin trying to avoid demotion. Kevin needs a couple wins here to get away from that cut line. Maybe pull Jason or Edwin down.
Yeah, it looks like these standings are not including the result of the previous game. It looks like Kevin will be dropping down another 20 or so points.
There, it just got updated, and yeah, now you're a little worried because you're going to need some help. Even if you get a big win here, if it's a monster win, you get a plus 60, then you're feeling okay, but you need not just a first, but a big first. Irie's kind of the interesting position here because you figure there may be extra promotions into A2, but maybe not more than one or two. It's always very volatile. And you see Haru with solid stats, Michael with solid stats, Kate, some of it's very difficult to jump, and then Ricky and above basically already going up, barring a pretty bad session 6. So we'll see if Irie can change position here. Needs to make up a bunch of points. So I feel like this is a game where everyone high rolls.
Yeah, I think everyone is going to be going all out, except for maybe Shinlong, who just needs to sit tight. But ID's going to be going for it. Kevin's going to be going for it. And Leon, as a substitute player here, he can,
As a sub, I'd always be high rolling because why not? You're looking for an excuse to get a clip up.
yeah, might have a clip. Now
Get
there's,
something to show up in a show. In the show, which should be a week from next Wednesday.
yeah, folks, keep in mind this is session 6. This is the last session. Promotions, relegations will be determined, and then the new season starts. So about a week, 2 weeks to go for the new
Yeah, two
season.
weeks. That's right. We do have 1 week off. This is still technically the first week of session 6. There's a second week, and then we take the week off. So it'll be 2 weeks from Wednesday.
And I believe, we had signups running through the 16th, so one more day to sign up for the next season. We're underway. Shinlong, our
Yeah,
first dealer, ID to the right, Kevin across the table, and Leon on our left.
yeah, if you want to sign up, do it now while you think of it, because if you don't, and I've seen people who do it and then go, oops, and then are really sad because they have to stay another season out. All right, so deal here is Zhidlong with a Pinfu type hand, probably just playing efficiency, doesn't really greed for the 79 Sanchiku, may take the 678 if the hand moves that direction, though. On the right, that is Ishunten for Richi Nomi, potentially across the way a whole bunch of pairs, probably just a Tanyao hand, maybe Tanyao Chitoy. You do have a Dora, so if you can get there, great. And on the left, A few pairs. It's an ugly Pinfu type hand. You have Conshuns everywhere. I just hate hands like that.
Yeah,
And it's one of my personal annoyances when I count the number of odd tiles, the number of even tiles, and if either of those is more or is less than 4, I'm not happy about it. And there are only 2. And you just see the discards. There's nothing for Leon.
now we'll wait and see. I'm very curious to see how Kevin's hand across the table develops because it drew the 3-pin, stopped looking like Chito and more like Ipeco, and now the 4-pin is drawn. Do we go Tanya Toy Toy? Like who knows how the hand's gonna develop? A 2-pin. What are you supposed to do with
Multiple
this?
players Ishunten. I think everyone's Ishunten except for Dealer.
Yeah, slightly more efficient to cut the 3-pin there, but I think Kevin's thinking big. Consideration on the 6-mon. Okay, gonna move in the
Cuts the
direction of
9,
Tanya.
figuring that one of the 9s is already out. It's not that great as a pair.
Yeah, there's the punish for the 3 so cut. Could have been Tempai on 6-9-mon here. But maybe we can get Tanya Saranko Dora.
Kevin with by far the most interesting shape. That is not a hit, though. So a whole bunch of whiffs, and that's what tends to happen when everyone's really close. You just see Wall of Sumogiri. Speaking of Wall of Sumogiri, check out Irie's Pond. Ouch.
There's nothing going. We said that was E-Shot 10 from the start, I think. But
Well, it has not moved.
yeah, that's the one downside. In the meantime, Leon's hand that looks so difficult has now filled out. E-Shot 10, perfect E-Shot 10. Also, I think it should be noted, just for people who are paying attention to the standings, that with only 19 players in the league, technically, because one player had to back away, that's why Leon is subbing. I believe that means there will only be 4 relegations. And that's this Saranko Tempai, Ricci Slam.
Do you ever just Dama and say, I want Suanko?
I think that's a good consideration.
Yeah, especially on the 6-9, because the 9, if you sumo it, it's already Mangan, and the 6, if you rolled on it, it's Tanyao, Sonanko, Dora. If you went on the 9, there's so much foo, it's perfectly fine there. And you're really sad if you ever draw the Suanko Tempai and
Yeah.
Yuririchi.
Well, so far, so good in the sense that we haven't drawn Suanko Tempai while Ricci.
Looks like Irie is out.
And not many tiles live in the wall, only one draw
Healer's
left.
Tempai now, can Ricci on the 2, can even Dama. Will Dama waiting on 6-pin for Noyaku, so it would be Sumo Nomi. There's the possible Suanko Tonki, but with no draws left. And the 6 does not deal in because there is no Yaku here. And you do not want to cheat this. I don't think. I don't want to give Haite.
Oh, well,
But that's going to be the play here.
we're going to find out.
Not punished.
Oh, tough decision. If you cheat, at least you don't have to make a draw and discard, but giving that high take
As
could be just as
dealer
bad.
especially, I'm willing to take that, chats. I do not want to get Oyukaburied by a Haite.
Yeah, at least you have control. If you don't like your draw, you can fold and lose your 1,000.
All right. Well, regardless, it's going to be a repeat for Jinlong. Fills in there with a 3, so pretty standard Pinfu hand. Maybe a distant 2 through 4 Sanjiku. On the right, we have a South pair, so can call this as a Yakuhai. The problem is there's just not much value in this hand. The shapes are okay, but you have 6 blocks. So the question is, what do you do with that Pinzu shape? Everything else seems pretty straightforward, but that Pinzu shape with the 2, 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, where 6 is Dora, is very awkward no matter what you do. Across the way, Pinfu shape with 2 Dora, but it's a little slow, especially compared to that East that has been called on the left and is now very close. But going to take the Ryonkon with the Dora, 4, 6, 8. We have East Shunten on the right for South, potentially South Dora 1.
Yeah, it looks like these open hands are going to be the ones to watch.
There's the 8. I imagine the 9 is going to come out next turn. That'll be Tempai.
Adi with a big advantage. And I think having seen a lot of the games in the series so far, Adi's been doing this all series long. Just get your Yakuhai. She's had it a whole bunch of times. And chip away with these 2,000-point hands.
Now it's a 3, 6 weight. We see 5 of them, so 3 in the wall still. But the 6 may come out from Leon, especially if the 7 so is drawn.
And if you're ID here, it's a little interesting. As you said, multiple players ahead of ID have not finished any games yet. So with the session ending so early, it's hard to know what your target is. I guess you just set a number for yourself and aim for that.
Well, get as many points as possible. Always a good strategy.
Ishanten for dealer, Ishanten for Leon now.
And I think just because the 9 looks like such a good weight, Leon is unlikely to cut the 6 unless the 7 is drawn. Ari thinks for a second about whether to switch to Shampoo and
Eat.
decides no. And there is our 3-sided Ricci from dealer, 258 for Ricci Pinfu. The 9 is safe. Ari might have forgotten there's a chi, but there it is.
Yeah, a number of
Uh-oh. Well, it may just be a fold, and yeah, just going to fold out here.
a number of the 258 have been discarded. A number more held, so not as live as you'd expect a Sanmenchan to be.
Interestingly, for Leon, the 3-so would have been pretty close to the ideal outcome, just shutting down the dealer. But it could also deal into the dealer. You don't know enough here. And the 2-5s are just all getting drawn. The weight is terrible. Is it dead?
No more 8s. There's only 5s left. There's 1 5.
Is there?
No, there's not even a
not.
5. It's
It's
completely
dead.
dead.
It's turbo dead. But it might come out here. We'll see what happens.
9
No,
mon.
throws the 9. Oh, and the
No.
6 will deal in, and that's going to shut this down and get the 2 Ricci sticks. So Ari wins 1 Han for 3,300. Always feels good.
Still extremely tight. We haven't seen that monster hand just yet. A good attempt by Kevin earlier. But now Dora 9-so.
All right, dealer here with a Pinfu type hand. As that floating 9-so Dora. Might just go Tanya. And now you just have. So, I talked about having the wrong number of odd tiles, and now we see here it just even after even after even tiles, which is how you just stack up Kanchan like this. Like a 2, 4, 4, 6, 8. How many Kanchans is that? 1, 2, 3, just a small block like that. On the right, we have a potential 2, 3, 4 Sanshugu building. Across the way, a Pinfu type hand, but the value is likely on a 6, 7, 8 Sanshugu or just Ricci Pinfu. And there's another 6. We'll require a shift in the Sozu to get there. So maybe a little bit more effort. And on the left, we have the South pair, but that is not Yakuhai at least yet, and a Dora. So probably not an ideal shape, but the best hand clearly looks to be Leon's.
Yeah, Kevin's getting close to Ishanten for Pinfu, but first Ricci, as expected. On here with Ricci, Pinfu, waiting for 7-so.
We see a bunch of those lighting up in hands. The weight not that great. It's a 3 left. Dealer not Ishanten, but would have to push. And may just fold out here with 7 mon, 9 mon.
Yeah, starts with the 9. Standby for Kevin. He will slam. Not going to try to Genbu snipe because he needs points.
Yeah, that's a Ricci Pinfu waiting on 5-8.
Oh.
Just Ipatsumo. That's why you don't Dama. Ricci Ipatsu Sumo Pinfu.
Of course, no Una.
No.
That is the DRM way. But that will put Kevin into first.
Still, you don't complain about that. Things also you don't complain about is a starting hand like that.
Interesting.
Kind of an outside Chanta Honitsu.
Maybe counting Kokushi tiles?
Yeah, I don't even hate cutting 6 money. Yeah, that's going to be the play here. Wants to just go Honitsu. Honitsu, Toy Toy, maybe even Honroto later. On the right, Pinfu type hand. Nice little Peiko with a 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. Actually, could even go Chi-Toy now with a 5, 5, 6, 6. When I see double runs like that, I think, hey, wait, that means Rion Peiko is possible, isn't it?
That's true.
Across the way, a Haku Pon, a 9-pin Chi 2 Dora could go Chanta Haku Dora 2. And on the left, nice little hand, but just Ishanten for Ricci Nomi, most likely. Another pair. What do you do now? Just cuts one of the pairs.
Oh, we're going to see a con.
Oh, fourth one, so.
We're not. Oh, we're greeting Honitsu.
No, just full greed.
Oh, boy.
I don't mind cutting the west there and kind of just holding on my option. But on the other hand, we have Kevin who does not care and is just going
Home.
for it all. There's a Dora pulled, and now you're a little worried.
Oh, it's gonna be a bit of a race now.
Con.
Also, yeah, con now.
There's the con. Says I want another draw, and there's your 3-4-5, and you're feeling really bad about now.
Mm. It was interesting. The early 9-pin chi from Shinlong was from a diamond shape. A lot of times you pass that up. Um, Now the answer wise revealed, we saw the Hakupon and the Dorapon. Just wanted speed to get that door win. After this,
Well, one of the Chanta is how the shapes were really building, and then drew a 5-mon later. And now we see the 5-mon as a Dora, so cuts away from this 2-3, especially with the 1 being dead. It's not like it's of any use. And we have Tenpai on the left for 2-5-mon. Dealer is Ishanten. Will just be Honetsu or Honetsu double Yakuhai.
yeah, we'll see if Leon drops this east ever. I think probably doesn't
I
want to touch
would
that.
never be throwing that east. Not even because I'm worried about Dealer. I'm worried about everyone.
Yeah,
You know it's dealing into someone. You just don't know who someone is in this case.
right. And even ID with just a ton.
Oh, there it goes!
Ooh,
Very surprised that came out. Waiting on 4-7. That is Dealer Mongon.
that's Tenpai for
That
Leon.
is Tenpai on the right. Waiting on 5-6, though,
If
Jumpon.
you cheat this,
No
you have to take a
Yaku.
Tonki. We'll choose the correct Tonki for now.
Yeah, the 4 would deal in.
ID with 2 Dora
I
after
think
the
you
con.
have to Ricci. I would. The problem is the weight's dead.
No, you're just gonna get out.
No, just folds out. That's also fine.
Oh,
We see not a switch to the West Tonki. It says the 4-so is the weight. Might see a switch to a 6. The problem is that'd be cutting Dora. I never want to cut Dora here. Oh, just folding out. So it's going to be Dealer and West player facing off here. Everyone else folding.
Hatsu just passed. That can go through. Twice cut. There's so many 4-7s in the wall. There's 6 tiles. That means Shinlong also has a chance to sumo that.
So there's one of them.
That should be held forever.
And I think the 6-pin looks pretty safe here.
Tumon also is not too terrible.
Sumo.
Oh, there it is for a
Just
cut.
Sumo. That's going to be a Mongon. You don't even have to worry about the foo, but it was a lot.
Wow, it might just go for the same thing, although there's a door acceptance in the upper Pinzu.
Yeah, great starting hand here. Potential Itsu, potentially Peiko, potential door acceptance, potential Chanta even, Junchan. If you draw 1-so, 1-so, lots of routes here. On the right, another great starting hand. Potential Richi, Pinfu, Tanya, maybe even 5-6-7 Sanjogu there. Across the way, Pinfu, a little more basic. Had the 1-2-3. I don't like that 1-pin cut. I definitely would have cut one of the honors instead, because that really just shuts down what your options are with this hand. On the left, we have 2 Dora, potential Itsu in Manzu, though.
With the 2 Dora, I'd definitely probably willing to call 7-mon or 2-mon.
5-so, nice upgrade. Potential to floater there on the right for Leon.
Either now Ishantan.
Big drops. You're not really happy about the 2-2-3-3. I would cut 9-so here. Out it goes. We have an Ipeco on the right developing, which is just as well because the 4-so is pretty locked up. At least 2 of them are.
Ooh.
Oh, well, that's a draw.
You can 5-pin? Okay, 3.
I like the 2 instead. I don't actually like the 3. I like the 2 because if we drew the 4, then we could just take the 2-3 Shampoo.
For Tanyo.
Yeah, just take the Tanya. We could even call it if we think it's that bad.
Yeah, here I like holding the 2-pin a little bit more than the 6, just because we're getting late. 6 a little
Well,
bad against Ricky.
the 6 would be a great floating tile, except for the hole we cut the 5 earlier. So it's not going to do much in this hand. And instead, just keeping as a floating tile and now just sitting on the Chun. Chun is live. I would actually expect it to be used on the left, given that 7-8-9 call.
Now Leon also holding one on the right. And of course, we expected that call from ID, also looking for the 2-mon as well.
Yeah, I are going for Itsudora 2. Well, there's your Tenpai. Could go Chun Tonki.
I think Chuntanka is almost better because the 8s are all gone, and he agrees.
Oh, yeah, it is. And there's a pair up. This must be... Oh, there's the Ipatsu!
Oh my goodness,
It's
that's
the Ipatsu.
only because he paired it up. And the Ura as well.
And the Aura, and that is... We said Kevin needed to get some points, and he's doing it for now. Needs to rack up more, but 56-7, an excellent start here in East 3.
Yeah, I suspect Leon drops pretty much anything else that's safe, unless he pairs it up there, and then it looks not so bad.
All right, well, dealer here is Kevin with the second repeat. Couple pairs, not too much here. On the right, Richi, Pinfu, Tanya, 345, Sanshuku, Dora. Wow.
Love that hand.
I'm just drooling already just staring at that hand. Across the way, potential Itsu in Sozu. Now the Anko of the 5-pin can still just hedge towards the Itsu. It's not expected, but it's one of those things you want to hold on as long as possible. And on the left, distant Itsu and Monzu, but significantly worse options. And goes ahead and calls the 6. This allows both the Tanya route and the Itsu route. But the 5-6-7 says we're locking in the Tanya.
Yeah.
So not going to be much value in this hand.
Still, the way things are going, you just kind of want the hands to move around.
The Itsu on the left, however, now still available, needs the 2 and 3 bond.
Yeah, Leon discards it in such a way that we'll end up losing the Sanchoku, but still Ishantem.
3 so fits in nicely. That is Ishunt. I'm surprised the 7 came out. I think I'm always cutting the 3 pin there. Because you already have your pair. The 6 is a good flow. The 7's a good floater near Dora. Oh, just draw the 4.
Yeah, the perfect tile.
Well, that'll fix this. And the question is, do you take the Intotsu or do you take the 4-7 weight? I definitely take the Intotsu, but we're going to see the 4-7.
The 2 so doesn't look too bad. Oh, the 7. That.
Oh, well, if it just gets drawn, you know it's going to have to come out from Leon.
Yeah, it doesn't come out yet, but it feels like it's on the way.
Happens, yeah.
Leon, maybe after that tank on the 5-pin, it feels like he's choosing his weight, and so a little bit more hesitant to cut it out.
A Shunten for dealer here.
Could see the 4 come out eventually from dealer.
Doesn't take it. Oh, there he goes. So the 4-7 was the correct weight. We'll shut this down with Tanya only, and we're at East 4. Dealer here has a Dora. This is probably just going to be a Richi Nomi, but Richi Dora 1 doesn't hold on to the 9 for potential Itsu or Honitsu shift later. Just says it doesn't fit. Out it goes. I want the East potential, even though one of those is out. And there's another 9. On the right, we have Itsu potential in Pinzu. The rest of the shapes aren't great. Across the way, that is a 6, 7, 7, 8, 9. Great shapes, but not much value yet. Cuts the 2 to potentially accept a Dora. And on the left, good shapes in Sozu, but other than that, not much. I'm trying to find out a way to get value out of it. Unless you just draw back into Sadanko, I'm just not seeing it.
Yeah, and, well, slow going for a lot of these players. Another Itsu. It feels like that's been the hand.
There's Senpai across the way. Richi Pinfu, Dora 1, 4-7 1. Of course, the dealer is just hoarding the 7s.
Only 3 tiles left in the wall. But did get the door draw for Tempai. That definitely pumps up the value a bit.
And Jinlong's hand's bad enough to just fold out here. Ishan 10 for dealer.
Who honestly might take a fight. You can pay and see how things go.
I'd go pay here. Yep, that's the plan. Because the 2-pin actually looks okay.
Defensive duty for the Dutchman. Now has 3 Tusos to cut, so lots of safety here. Shinlong also trying to find a good.
Trust the Suji. Path. There's another 4, so we see 1 of each left.
Yeah, some awkward choices here. Do you trust Richi Suji 3 so?
With a couple of the 2 so out, probably, but this is always the problem when you fold like this. I think I might have gone 2-pin just because I see 3 4s.
Yeah, that feels pretty good, especially, well,
I mean, it's not Sotogawa at all.
Yeah.
Don't trust it. But Sumo, if they're not going to give it to me, I'll take it myself. Richi Sumo, Pinfu Dora. No aura, but we'll get back over 30,000. Big win there for Irie, and we're in South Round.
Shinlong the dealer back again.
And Jinlong has a floating Hakudora, a couple pairs. This feels like a Chitoitsu
Hmm.
hand. Cuts the one mon right away on the right. Pinfu Taipan, maybe a 789 Sanshoku developing. Across the way, few pairs, but the shapes are just really ugly. 678 Sanshoku is probably the best route to value, but the best hand is pretty clearly the one on the left.
Oh, we'll see what happens to the Haku. One's come out from ID already. Shinlong with the Chitoid probably will hold on to it, and Leon, of course, with Honitsu is definitely going to hold on to it for a while.
Well, that's the hand where you look at it and say, what Yaku do I want? Yes.
It turns out with these shapes, it's actually a little tricky to use the Haku, so it might come out of Leon. It needs to
Well,
come out
unless you
before Shinlong gets
Chitoy it up.
Tenpai.
If you draw a 5, 6, 7, well, doesn't matter. I was calling, probably cutting the south. And if the north comes out, or even the 9 so here could come out, and you'll just take Tempai.
It looks like there's a 2-so in Kevin's hand that doesn't really fit, so out it comes.
Yeah, you just take Tempai every time here. A little sad if you went on the 9, but good enough.
Oh,
And there it goes,
how do you
and
get to
there it goes.
26?
Okay, you know what? With the scoreline, I would pawn and cut north.
Mmm. And
Normally, I just take the win, but when I look at these scores, I feel going for Chinitsu, especially that early, may have been the play.
you have so many draws for a wide weight, 8-so and 4-so in particular, but also you get the 5-so or 7-so. Like that's 4 great draws. That could be a two-sided weight.
Yeah, because your other shapes after the 3 calls is a completed run. You'll connect to anything near those, but does end up taking the win. And dealer here is Irie on our right.
Yeah,
That's
let's
a
go ahead and swap
potential.
over.
Probably just a Ricci Dora 1. Wanted to go Junchan with this, but the draws aren't really supporting it. On the right, we have the South pair. That can be a call and go. Wants to go Honitsu. With that 3, I'm just going for it. I hate the 7-mon cut. I feel the 7 pin is probably the way to go if you want to cut a 7. I really want to go Honitsu with
At
that,
the very least,
but
the 7-mon
Kevin,
gives us a chance to draw Dora.
Dora good. Me likey Dora.
Leon likes Dora too.
All right, well, there goes the south, and just taking the fastest route to Tempai
Hmm.
will just be the double south. Probably figures the first place is good, but we talked about at the beginning. Kevin needs more than just first, more than just a decent sized first. Kevin needs a dominant first, and
Oh,
that's going to be Tempai waiting on 2-5 mon. Across the way, we have all the Dora, 3 of them. The problem is the rest of the hand is trash. And on the left, definitely a Tanya type hand. We'll call now for Tempai on 4-mon.
someone's thinking about the 7 con? Surely. Oh, surely not, I was
Hit
going to
the
say, but
button!
okay. Flips the 6 pin to be Dora.
And dealer draws the Dora and probably just says, I'm out. I'd probably cut 9 to 9, so.
That's going to make Ricci pretty potent now.
Can switch to the 6. We'll stay on the 4. Can Chi this down? I like the Chi.
This is an option. You have to drop the Dora against 2-call hand. It passes.
Okay, I might have gone 2 so first. Oh, well, this is just going to be a deal
Oh, you
in.
gotta cut the 5 usually. Oh, it's 50-10. So we'll swap around.
Wow, okay. Says, I know what the weight is, and I'm not going to throw it.
Apparently.
Amazing dodge. I don't understand how he saw that one.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. Maybe the fear of the 789 looks like a late Chinitsu
Chanta
shift or
shift.
something. Because the 5 will
Well,
pass against
that's
a Chanta.
Senpai.
Well, that's a 6-mon. No, I'm gonna
Nope, just
fully bail
folding
out.
out.
Hates these Monzu. So this is giving Leon time to find a Tenpai. He doesn't really care about the open hands, and that's Tenpai for
The
ID as
problem is if
well.
Leon gets Tempai, it's going to deal in.
This braid's gonna deal into a double roan.
Might deal in here. This would be the double roan. Nope, folding out. Does not like the penchant.
See, there's no 2 mon left and only one 5 mon. And everyone recognizes that the Monzu is bad.
Yeah, everyone knows the lower Monzu are the scary area.
6-pin actually not that bad here. It passed from ID earlier. Kevin hasn't changed his hand since then. And the only question is, does it deal into Leon?
Well, that's Tempai if it's going to be pushed. Folded away from this once. Folds away from it again. Can switch here with the safe 1-mon.
Katagiri.
Well, now the 5, it just screams death.
Got no
That's
tender.
Tempai. The 5 would deal in double roan.
Oh, I don't think he's pushing it.
He wants to. You can see he wants to.
Oh, he does!
Out it goes! Itsu, Dora 1. And we have a double south on the right. So for a double roan like that, it's not the worst
No.
outcome, but ouch. Oh, ignore that hand on the right.
Yeah, don't worry about
Is
that
it
thing.
even worth discussing any other hands? Oh wait, yeah, because we have a Chiditsu on the left.
Oh, these hands are ridiculous. These draws have given us the maximum amount of drama. Dealer is like, I'm kind of okay with my hand. Like, I can try to work a door in, but these other hands are just absurd.
What about Daisungen?
Lysangan, how about Suiso?
That was the tune. If Kevin draws it, I think we're just full sending.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now the tune just dead. 2 of them out. And you'll wait on it for the potential Shosangan eventually, but Shosangan, Chanta, Honitsu, double south. I mean, I'd do it. No, you gotta wait on the east instead. It is double south, Haku, Chanta, Honitsu.
Yakuhai, Yakuhai. So much here.
Triple Yakuhai.
7 Han. If we did wait on the tune, that would be Baibon. But there's only one left, right? How
You figure the east probably comes out. In fact, I don't like that no call is off. I think you definitely don't want to signal your Tempai.
I actually think losing the Chanta is okay here, and waiting on the 6-9 for Hanuman is totally acceptable, because it's Hanuman anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't matter the score here. And we haven't mentioned it, but there's East Shunten across the way for potential Richi Pin Felipeco.
Yeah, the
Needs
lag.
a 3 or 6.
Ooh.
Oh, we
Another
gonna see a
con?
con?
That allows you to range
I
on
mean,
the
you
one
can win
pin.
on the 1 now. Oh.
Misses. 3 east in the wall.
Oh no!
Demon!
Deals
only
in on
way.
the Atazuke Tanyo Dora 1. Had so much potential, it just ends up dealing in, and you just look at it, you're just sad.
Yeah, the east never came out, the Chun never came out. It was just not destined to win.
Well, has a chance to recover it here is Dealer, but the shapes aren't great here. It's a Pinfu type hand, 3-mon and 7-mon to help immensely on the right. I feel like we're getting a lot of Chanta type hands.
I mean, Chanta's great when you've got a wind as your
If you
Dora.
draw them all yourself, Chanta's a great hand. It's the open, it's terrible. Across the way, 2-mon a real help there. Probably just go for the Richinomi, potential Itsu eventually. The Chinitsu, or rather Honitsu with the south pair and potential Itsu there on the left. And that's going to be an easy call for Irie. If you can get the Itsu, that's the Mongon, but that's about the only route to it in that hand.
Yeah, we saw a little hesitation there from Shinlong, thinking about greeting Honitsu, but really, realistically speaking, just play for the quick win here.
Sometimes it's just not there.
Yeah.
And with where Jinlong is in the standings, taking a negative third is just fine. And it's Tempai on 2-5.
I don't think ID's cutting those, though.
No, just going for the Itsu here. The South Itsu, Honitsu. But going to be shut down with a 2-pin, as that's the 1100 for Jinlong. Will move us to South 4.
Just as Kevin got Ishan 10 for an Itsu of his own, Now going to all last, Kevin has one big goal, and that's bring ID down below 30k so we can get the bonus 5 points of Uma. For Leon, you're just trying to run this up as much as you can. Shilong just wants to end the game, and ID is trying to collect as many points as possible, but at the very least, staying above 30,000 points to be positive is number one goal.
All right, and Leon doesn't take the Itsu, definitely planning for a Tanya with a couple Dora. Doesn't even need a great shape when you have two Dora. Could also, if you can get the six pin, maybe you go Sanjuku, but goes and preemptively cuts the 8. Considering the 9 is out, makes sense on the right. Pinfu type hand, but the shapes aren't great. Maybe a 5/6/7 Sanjuku eventually across the way. Kind of a Pinfu hand, maybe a Peiko, but now the south pair's up. That's a call and go. And on the left, Pinfu, but needs to fill in that 1-3-3-5 shape. May just throw the 1 back, throws the 3 and locks in the Ryokan. And now the 2 is looking really bad for that Ryokan.
Yeah, you see the ones you're like, okay, there's still some left. Second two comes out, third two comes out, and all of a sudden that shape's terrible.
Now you're just sad. I'm just cutting the 1 out of spite this turn.
Leon, though, quickly here into Ishanten. Not a good Ishanten, but working a pinch. As dealer, any Ricci is going to be threatening. It's got 2 Dora on top of it.
What you really want to do is just draw another 8. Oh,
Neat.
that works even better. Ricci, Pinfu, Dora 1, waiting on 6/9.
As Shinlong was
The
in the middle
problem
of
is,
cutting away from the 9-so pair.
yeah, and doesn't really have better choices. I guess the
One
one
pin.
pin
Yeah.
is the only safe route, and that's going to be the cut for now.
He was
But
cutting.
that 9 may eventually come out. Is that Tempai? That is Tempai. I'm surprised it's not taken.
No, should be Ishanten there.
So, oh, that's a 4. I thought that was a 3 in there.
Sumo.
Oh, just Sumo. It doesn't matter. Ichi Sumo, Pinfu, Dora 2.
There's only one tile on the wall, but that's all you need. No Ura. That's going
No
to bite
Ura,
away
but
at Kevin's lead here. That does also bring ID below. So that's like a net 1,000 point game for Dutch.
less than ideal if you are Kevin, who, as we said, needs points. Even if it were to end here, gets 40, which still doesn't even close the gap with Brian, although Brian and Jason still have their games to play this session.
Yeah.
We
Oh.
all know has a Pinfu type hand, maybe Nipeko with a 1-2-2-3 mon. On the right, we have a Honitsu developing there in Pinzu with a floating Dora Pei. The rest of the hand, not too much to look at. Across the way, fills in the Ryokan there with a 5 pin, a 4-5-6-8, and potential Itsu in Manzu. Looking for real value, and a Rishi Pinfu isn't going to do it without some Ura. On the left, we have a messy Pinfu, needs the 8 pin badly, maybe a 7-8-9 or 6-7-8 Sanjuku eventually. Dealer's hand, though, looks like it may be the best, and even that's not that great.
Well, Shinlong just continues to draw Kokshi tiles. Dion Shantan
Oh,
now.
that's Senpai across the way. It'd be Richinomi, though. A 5-9 Shampon, and will instead Dama.
Yeah, we've
There are
got.
a lot of upgrades here to a potential Itsu, but any of those Itsu is going to be a shape where you have to draw the 4th one. The 4th of whatever you connect to.
A 9-mon comes out, which makes the 9-mon itself draw a little bit
And a 5 is
worse.
already out, so it's not like it helps a lot. And we see Kogoshi appears to be the plan on the right.
Yeah, it's still 2 away.
Has 3 pairs, though, and when you're going for Kogoshi, that's not ideal.
Make that
But at the
4.
same time, just doesn't want to really fight this and has no
Well,
incentive to. Well, that's just a slab. You just reach you this.
3-sided 3-6-9 9-mon will be Itsu on top of the Riichi Pinfu.
And there is only the one on the right. So, barring something strange, because there are all sorts of folding tiles here. At the same time, Jinlong may not even care, but if I were in his position, I wouldn't try to take 4th.
Certainly not.
But the problem with the pawn like that is it could just be a Chitoitsu, and then you don't really know what's safe.
Yeah, Leon's trying to fight for this. 5-so is a very safe tile with all the 7s visible. Kevin's just trying to get out. It's going to be a danger area because Kevin's going to drop 4-so. Maybe fall 4-so if Leon gets Tempai.
Senpai, the 4-7 is super dead, so may even Dama this.
And
It's
Kevin,
just the 2-4, so 7 is dead. We'll go ahead and Ricci. I like the Shampoo Ricci, actually.
Ooh.
That's going to be the play here. And only 2 of those left either. So it's a 2 versus 2.
The 2 sticks are very relevant as well. Oh, that's a sumo for
Oh,
Ivy.
there's the sumo. It is the cheap end, but that extra Ricci stick is big here.
Yeah, that
will be enough to get Irie to 30,000.
All right, so in the end, Kevin the winner here, but 34.2 means he'll be sitting and watching the rest of the B1 division and seeing how that will play out. ID with a positive score as well, plus 5.4, will bump a little bit higher in the standings. Still going to be sitting and watching Michael, Haru, Kate, Ricky, Blake, and others play. A lot of games yet to go in B1, and we'll be casting some of them tomorrow night. Machine Long with a minus 11.6 will finish with a 184.6. Looks very solid to promote to Division A2 next season. And for Leon, our substitute player, takes the 4th place here. But we appreciate substituting all season long for the missing player. Take one last look at the big screen in B1. And I want to point out one match in particular to watch. In Division B1 on Monday night, there's going to be a series between Brian W., the current leader of the division, Christian M., who is sitting smack dab in the middle, 10th place, Jason Z., who is at 15th place, and Brian T. in 16th place, all at the same table. So this is going to be incredibly important, especially if there are only 4 relegation spots. Then currently Kevin is the first man in the relegation zone, but if Brian or Jason dips below, then Kevin will be safe. So that will be played late Monday evening. We'll hope to catch as many of those games as possible. But also 2 more tables from B1 will be played. One with Hadu, Michael, Gauhan, and Kayla. And then a little bit later in the evening, Ricky, Wenchen, James, and Ryan. So a lot's going to be determined in B1 tomorrow evening.
All right, you can see here all these people sitting around 11% deal-in seems to be the theme here. A whole bunch of those names highlighted in red, but the standard we see in most divisions is the easiest way to have great results is win a lot of hands. You look down 14th and below are sub 20%, and the only one with a sub 20% that is doing reasonably well is Haru there in 6th place, and Brian is dominating with that 28.4%. I think there is one game that is currently in progress, and I think that'd be a good one to wrap up on. I believe it is an A2 match, so let's head out there. They're in progress with Garrick, Daniel, Steven, and David.
I'm very excited to see this table. David, very close to that promo zone. One game has been played already, so I don't know how the standings have changed since then. Garrick as well was in the hunt. Daniel was sitting above Garrick, and currently looks like Garrick is our dealer with Ricci, but in 4th.
1
Now we see where in South 1, Garrick is dealer here with Richinomi 5-8 Mon. We can see that the 2 also wins because there is a 2-5-8 Mon weight across the way. A pin won't really help. It goes and throws the Suji 7 to the dealer at least.
A bit of a sumo battle here, but Garrick loses out on the 2-mon. And
Well,
also,
the problem is the 2-mon only has 1 left, so it's not that bad.
yeah, you never know when that 1 tile can make a difference. But in terms of value, just Tanya Door 3, certainly advantage to Steven. In a moment.
And the South not conned. It would be funny, but a terrible move. And there is our sumo, Ricci sumo. No aura, but Garrick more than willing to take the win there, and the extra Ricci stick moves into 3rd place and gets a repeat dealer, fills the penchant immediately, has a Dora here, probably just a Ricci Dora 1, and maybe a 567 Sanchiku eventually. Double South on the right. The problem is the shapes are good enough, may just call it down as is. Also potential Honitsu if the right tiles come. Across the way, needs to fill the penchants similarly. Looks like the 3 pin is going to be the in-demand tile here. There is the double south call on the right. And on the left, we have a west pair, but that's not a Yakuhai, so may end up cutting in going Tanyao.
All right, we've got results in David third place overall after 21 games. Daniel Garrick neck and neck as expected. He's even trying to got a lot of way to go to battle his way out of this. Can take pretty much any fight almost certainly. But Garrick, as the dealer, now catching up to third place. Perhaps more.
Garrick Ishunton here has Penchun. You can tell what he really wants, though, is connect to this 5 and go 5, 6, 7 Sanshoku.
Oh, absolutely. I hate being in the spot with 2 pensions to fill and not much else to do but wait for it to happen. And Pinzu...
Really, the only way this ends up being Sanshoku is specifically if the 6 is drawn, may be able to justify the gate 9 cut. And we have Tempai on the right. Oh, well, that's a second Dora, so that's not coming out.
Yeah, the only way is if Garrick draws the 3-pin, and I think he'll sacrifice the door in that
I
instance.
think you have to just throw it at that point.
Gee,
And
this
instead,
late.
what we see is Daniel wants to go Honitsu with this.
Oh my.
I think that may be a bit much.
Yeah, Daniel is not anticipating a bonus promo spot, so he's playing for everything. Maximum value, because a negative result here makes it very difficult for him to make it to the top 5.
And Garrick will need the 7-pin. There is only one of those left.
That 1-pin was such a huge draw. It really frees up more draws into Tempai, but the 2-mon are actually all gone.
That's the last 7-pin, though. So Garrick's probably done in this hand. I would call this. I'd absolutely call this. We'll just be for the K10, but the repeat's very important. And the 3-mon looks very safe against everyone later anyway, if you do have to throw it. 5 does connect, but still Ishun 10 there on the right.
Just looking at which safer, the 7 or the 4 so. Drop the 4 so back.
There's a Dora pair up across the way. Does not want to throw Pinzu. Pretty scared of what Dealer is doing. And, of course, the obvious Honitsu on the right.
Yeah, it's double South Honitsu. So even if it doesn't have any Dora, it's automatically a Mongon.
Well, there's the 4. Remember, it does not deal in. There is no Yaku for Garrick. Well, the 4, you have to throw it. I mean, it feels bad, and that's going to be Tempai now. Would be a 5-8 weight, probably.
Yeah, not very live.
There's the 4.
But Chi?
Can Chi and wait and cut the 3 to wait on 4-7? No, but that's not how it works.
That's
and now the 7 comes out, and you're just going to be so sad.
My Hote, rather.
My Hote, of course, it obviously would never have come out had it already cleared.
Right.
But, ooh, gets a great starting end here. Double Yakuhai call. Whole bunch of pairs as well. Speaking of double Yakuhai, we have the South pair again on the right. Also with a West pair. Could go Honitsu.